Okay.
All right, we're actually now live right now. All right. Hmm. Yeah, for anyone just jumping on viewing, just open discussions. Let's see. I was going to read actually a quote or two that I had come across. I thought was pretty cool. Let me go under here and look him up. Um, hmm. Hmm. Oh, yeah. I mentioned to everybody yesterday. I had some notes I had jotted down. Notes more or less for topics and stuff that I think that need to be, talked about and discussed more on a regular basis. Because some of the people I talk to, some of them are actually still very new and still getting into this, and that's where we need to be careful how we present stuff to people, and with all the arguments that all these other groups are doing, and it's just like I don't know how the newbies are actually really taking it because they haven't really said nothing. They're probably like standing back, scratching their head, more like what the heck's going on. um, 'Cause, I'm not gonna say all of them, but a majority of them, as far as science, all these science buffs saying how science is the key answer to life. Well, I mean, I'm sorry to say that, but I think there's a lot more to it than science. um, you know, and I've been told that I was only one sided and that I have the closed mind. But when you present something else to them that's a little bit more on a logical point of view, they they shrug off or they just said no. They more or less mock or scoff at it, and that's to me contradictory. Where they're the ones a little one sided. They're not thinking openly. Or considering another possibility. Um, but um, And I was advised, or actually, I was kind of learned something as far as to use a different word. Like if you hear me talk about skeptics, I learned another word to use, which you know, I guess it's more in general to the ones who maybe might mock the subject, not necessarily mock. Some skeptics do mock. Some of them, I wouldn't say really mock, but um, I want to, oh yeah, with some of the things I have on my one list. I'm gonna read some off. We could discuss some and kind of go over some tonight. Maybe we'll save some of them, the rest of them, for Saturday. Um, oh, that ain't what it is. Where'd it go? Hold on. Where is my paperwork? I just had all of it. I can't find my main paperwork that I was gonna have that had my notes on it.
You lost.
Um.
You lost them.
Oh no, here they are. I forgot. I have so many papers right here laid out. Okay. Yeah, I just wrote down some of the things I wrote down were actually topics, and some of them were questions. But I could actually use them. This is for a good group discussion, but it's also for I want to ask individuals these questions. Like one of the things I could really get into is talking about why do we share evidence, and then or what is evidence? Those kind of questions. Like, all right, for example, if I was actually ask you, Fred, like this would be me almost interviewing you. Like, for example, tonight on the live podcast, would you mind if I was to try to ask questions and get your opinions, almost as if I was going to interview you? Like, I would. I mean,
Now go ahead.
okay, yeah, it's not. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but it's like
I mean,
It's coming from a researcher's
basically,
point of view.
we're basically teaching, by other people's answers, because everybody's got an opinion, and you can ask you can ask 25 people the exact same question, and you'll get 25 different answers.
Right, exactly. So yeah, I think this is what we'll do tonight. I'll these are all simple research questions, and I think by me asking and getting your side of things, I think it will be educational to people, regardless if they agree or not. Because like I stated before, when I share stuff, I don't expect everybody to agree with me in my ways. So let's kind of open our minds a little bit, and that's basically what I'm trying to get people to do. Let's open your minds tonight. So here it goes. Let's see. Like not all of these are research related as far as, but some of them are affiliated or um, let's see. Well, as far as our research, us in general, our Bigfoot researchers, let's kind of go with that topic right now. Now, Fred, I know you experience it, I've experienced it, and there's quite a few others who experience it. The mockery, the ridicule, and because a lot of people take us as a joke, regardless if the joke, if it's coming from other so-called researchers or enthusiasts. Then you also have the ones that don't believe, and um, but let's apart from skeptics and non-believers, others in the Bigfoot community itself. Let's kind of more let's look at and point look in that direction.
Okay.
But as far as researchers, why do you believe a lot of us are often or not taken seriously that much? I mean, in your opinion,
Uh,
or how? Yeah, why do you feel that we're not taken seriously?
because we don't have a chunk of meat on a slab, on a table slab, and nothing to dissect. So the people are saying, well, you can go out and you can look for this. You can look for structure. You can look for plastic casts. You can look for hair, but it's coming back inconclusive. So how can you say Bigfoot is real? My opinion is, what the heck? I got something blocking me. Oh, okay.
What happened,
My
Fred?
oh, no, oh, never mind. It was
Oh,
something on the camera. But my opinion is, I mean, even
oh,
though I've seen them, U.A. Davis, I think he might have saw one. Um, Gilman, and the Gilman Patterson film, they've seen one, and we know that they're real. But all people, you notice here in the last year or two, people are starting to really, throw up hoaxes. They'll have a friend of theirs dress up in an outfit and run through and say, "Ooh, I saw a Sasquatch," And actually, what they're doing is they're mocking us researchers. They think it's a game, but
oh yeah,
they don't realize that if you go out into the woods like we do, produce the evidence like we do, they think it's a joke. But you get them out there. All right, good example. Remember the other night that story Paul told us got to his area and screwed his area up? The guy was a
yeah,
skeptic. The guy was a skeptic.
oh yeah.
He did not believe it. He thought he was full of shit.
Ooh,
Well, guess what? Because that guy screwed up and shined that flashlight in that squatch's eyes, he ain't no more. He's got to move to another place or go back in there and start all over again. It's people like that that you got to watch out for, But you got to learn. They've got to learn to understand through what we're doing. I mean, we're going through a lot of bull crap. Like I say, you got to go through shit to get to the gold. Well, that's what we're doing, and they don't understand that.
yep,
They think it's a big joke because there's no proof that Bigfoot exists. But yet, you got people out there who have
right.
seen him in front of me, 15 feet in front of me, 60 feet in front of me. Caught them running, caught them squashing down, looking at me, got them close. You know, it's experiences that we try to teach people, but they don't want to learn because they think it's a joke.
Yep.
Bottom line right
Well,
there.
that individual who, yeah, as far as I'm concerned, like that individual who might have done that to, Paul.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't even consider him a skeptic because according to the skeptics I talked to that took offense to my message or misunderstood it, well, according to them, they're not deniers, but they're not acceptors either. But at the same time, if that individual was a skeptic, he would have had enough respect not to do what he did. He would have like maybe possibly investigated himself instead of making a joke out of it. So I mean,
Well, by him go.
and maybe that's why some so-called skeptics might have been, that's why some of them are taking. I don't know.
Well,
I'm not, I don't know. It's just the way I look at things.
yeah, well, I mean, I've got people right now who want me to take them out, but yet I've heard through the grapevine that yeah, we're gonna get out there and we're really gonna mess with him. We're gonna make him look like a fool. All right, two people,
Yeah.
two people already tried it with me, and they got to see the real thing themselves, and it scared the living whistle dick out of them.
Right.
But that's the fun. That's the fun of taking people out. But when you take when you take people out, and when I take someone out, your way, well, we're doing the same thing, except your way approach is different from mine. But it's also we're doing the exact same thing. I don't care who you are.
Right.
You can be Jeff Meldrum, you can be Todd Standing, you can be uh, uh, Richter Riolo, you could be Mr. Hoaxer himself. We're all doing the same thing, just a different approach. And that's what people don't
Right.
understand. They do not. Oh, they do not
Oh.
understand. Yeah, but they don't understand what we're
Well,
trying to do. We're trying to teach people, but they think,
exactly.
but they think we're full of shit. There's no Sasquatch to show for it. So we're just waiting.
Right.
They can go out. Well, anybody can go out and make a footprint. All right, think about what happened in the '60s, before and after
Oh yeah.
Patty was guy. They had guys making up footprints and putting them on their boots and jumping through the woods. But where they were screwing up at, a Sasquatch walks in a single file. If
Oh
they're
yeah.
walking down the trail, they're walking in a single file. Their foot is like a model, one foot in front of the other. But where they screwed up at is they're running like a typical human.
Hmm.
Right foot, left foot. Squatch, toe, heel to toe, heel to toe, heel to toe. You've seen it. I've seen it in the mountains.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
You know, and that's what people don't realize. You take them out there, you show them, oh, it's hoax. Really? We're in the middle of nowhere. Now, who in the hell's going to be? Now, who's going to come out here, jump in a $20,000 monkey suit, and bop through the woods just so you can catch them on video? See, that's what people don't
Yeah.
realize.
Exactly. Well, not just that, but think about finding a track out deep in the middle of the woods. Do
Hmm.
you could ask yourself if you want to consider yourself, try to think and put yourself in the mind of a skeptic. Okay, but if a skeptic is thinking, well, for one thing, if a skeptic's out in the woods, and trying to look for evidence, and maybe try to find evidence to believe more on their own, if they find a fairly decent sized humanoid track out in the middle of the woods, well then, I asked Corey this last night, and well, I think it depends on everyone's going to speak a different opinion or say something different about it. But my opinion is they're going to have to think about it. It's okay. I found this track. This is not a bear track. Is somebody out here walking in the middle of the forest, national forest, barefoot on, knowing that there's venomous snakes and other, dangers out here? Well, that's something they got to consider. Um, like one of the footcasts my father showed one of the guys from church. It wasn't one of my big ones. It was about a 13-inch track. And the guy said to my father, Bill, my grandson's got a foot that size. My father came back and asked him, is he out running around in the middle of the George Washington National Forest? Of course, I think that kind of put you know, shut his mouth up a little bit. I mean, he didn't have nothing to say in reply to that.
Yeah.
But
Well, you think about it,
he's a
it's like that footprint that Paul Halsley took to a that foot specialist. The first thing, Paul didn't tell him who he was, what it was, or anything. He just said, "What's his cast look like?" And the first thing that guy said, someone who does not wear shoes. Okay,
Oh,
the
right, right.
typical right, the typical human thinks a Sasquatch footprint is a human footprint. That's that they could have hoaxed. But if you look at the true Sasquatch footprint, and matter of fact, you did a comparison up there one day. You had your footprint right next to the real footprint, but you did two plaster casts. You did one of your foot and one of a squatch. And what did you see? You could see a 100%
Right.
difference.
Oh yeah, a big difference. Yeah. Um. Actually, I could actually post that and share that to everybody as well. I'll share that in a little bit. Um.
Yeah.
Let me see. Um. Well, as far as another question, hmm.
Bill,
Where's my paper?
Bill Saltman.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I think he might want to get on. He said Daniel is posting up for a show. It says it starts at 7:15.
yeah. And we're live now.
Yeah,
I'll, yeah.
yeah.
Um.
But I mean, people, you know, I know, you got campers out there, and I know you got hikers out there who see these things, but they don't pay attention to them because they look like a human footprint. Common sense tells you, yeah, it's spring right now, but yeah, you got them shoes that look like tootsies. Yeah, you can run through the woods looking like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
And on taking me back on a Bigfoot show, a guy in Washington State found some tracks, and the first thing Renee said was it could be a person with them barefoot shoes that make to shoe it looks like your foot. It looks like your foot. She says it could be that,
Right.
but people don't realize, if you taking like you take and post a picture print alone, then post and then show the other footprint alone, the Bigfoot footprint, and then put them together and say, here is the difference. Show a male track and then show a female track compared to your footprint. If they if
Right.
if they're smart as they think they are, they will notice the difference. Most people don't notice it because they really don't think about it. What's that called? What's that center part of our foot that slings in more than the squatch?
Like mid tarsal break,
Right.
or
Squatch is
I've been asked what is the mid tarsal break. For those who don't know the mid tarsal break, it's actually the instep of your foot, just below the ball of your foot, in between the ball of the foot and your heel. So yeah, which I call it the instep. Pretty much, it's
yeah.
the low dip in the foot. Even though there is some people who have flat feet, but I think between Paul and Layla kind of brought it up last night, which they made a good point. Who are the ones that have flat feet? Well, first of all, our feet are formed from wearing shoes. A baby is born flat-footed because their feet are not shaped and developed from wearing shoes like we have all our life. So that's one thing to
Exactly.
keep in mind. That's they brought up a good thing yesterday. Um, yeah, but let me ask you as far as my questions are kind of random as far as the way I go out because looking at my notes it may make me think of something. But I'm gonna talk about evidence. And everybody, I've spoke about this, how, for example, foot tracks, finding foot tracks out in the woods and making casts of them. Well, I've heard it from two scientific individuals. Now, um, I do believe I'm quoting correctly that Todd Distel spoke that is not physical evidence. I heard from another individual that's scientific like him. They are physical evidence.
Hmm.
Well, Dr. John Bindernagel, wildlife biologist, who's been putting a lot of study and research into the Bigfoot, you know, mystery. He's got books out, you know, about wildlife related to Bigfoot research and trying to help people understand nature and so forth. But he said, yeah. But see, now those are opinions, but that they both look at it differently. So, but in your opinion, as far as footcast evidence and any kind of evidence, what do you consider solid evidence when you're out in the woods?
Well, we've tried the hair, which come back unknown primate or human contaminated. That's one. All right. Of course, you got your footprints. The only way I guess they would say it would be conclusive proof is if there was a hair inside or on the bottom of the foot of a squatch and it come back Bigfoot. But you got to expect, my opinion is they're human hybrid mixed with a hominid. The hominid is what we don't know. And
Right,
when you look at a squatch, everyone I've seen looked like a human in the face, had a human look type in his face. And they had the Neanderthal, look too. He had the big cheekbones, big brow line, uh, thick jaw, thick chin, big teeth and everything.
yeah,
And the footprints, um, to a researcher, we know that's conclusive evidence. But to the scientific world, well, that's not evidence.
right,
Well, the problem comes in is the scientific community refuses to go out in the woods and do the footprints themselves. Once they do that, then they will start to realize all they want to do is stay in the lab and do tests. That's fine, but you need to, for the real evidence, you need to get out in the woods and do hands-on touching. That's how you
right.
get the evidence. Oh, here.
Uh,
But yeah, you know, but
oh,
but people just don't realize that you know footprints are evidence of
right,
a creature of enormous size. But it all comes back to, since we don't have one on a slab, they don't exist.
right.
Want a clear photographic like Patty Gilman. You thinking what's that guy who got that one crossing from right to left?
Um,
Hey,
in what area or what footage?
wait a minute. I can't think of it. Hey, that was a hoax. Then they dissected that video out. It
Um,
was it was it was
hold on, you're breaking up
that
a
was
little bit, Fred.
pregnant. I think, huh?
Oh no, you were breaking up a little bit there for a second.
Oh, I can't think of the guy's name, but they dissect footprints and all. You can see coming down to the creek, getting water, and going back up. He meandered around, looking at prints, and he looked. There it is, and it walked across. Well, they dissected that part. I mean, they tested it, and come to find out, it was a real. The way the head, no neck, arms, big breast, big pot belly. It was female. Looked like she was pregnant. And he
Hmm.
caught her again, and she leaned down. She come up with a baby, and she took off.
Oh, that one. Ah, okay, okay, yeah, I know
You know,
exactly what you're talking
you know
about.
which one? Yeah, you know which one I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
because I mean, yeah, because that was pretty obvious. So, yeah, like a lot of people pointed out. Well, it's funny that they just happened to start the footage there at the stone or the rock,
Yeah.
whatever, and it,
Well, I mean, he's videoing the first time. I mean, he was videoing. He was. They analyzed his voice, and he was. 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 and surprised that that squash come across in front of him. Now on camera, it looks far away.
Right.
The thing was no more than 25, 30 yards in front of him because camcorder looks further away.
Yeah.
Like if you look at your coffee cup through your camcorder,
Oh yeah,
so
it
you have
looks
to
a lot
zoom it in
further.
to get it to that size.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I do believe there is some footage out there, and other people think so too, based off opinion, that there is some footage out there that is authentic. But the thing is, that's what makes it hard, because video footage, blurry or not blurry, and you know, it's hard to say if it's real or not real. But there's some of it out there that I've viewed that I believe is, um, you know, I guess you could say pretty authentic. But of course, people try to look and observe the movement, the way it's walking, the length of arms, and at the same time, as far as looking at the length of arms, I don't see that being definitive evidence or proof that it is a squash. I mean, they could have average size arms like we do, but then again, they could be long arms. A lot of people have reported seeing long arms down below their knees, or down by their knees.
Well, everyone I've seen had long arms,
Yeah,
but of course you got to think about the length of the hand. That 9 footer, he had long fingers on his hands.
yeah.
Fingers.
Hmm.
Standing there, had his arms stacked next to his side, looking at me. He was kind of like looking at me, but he's back and forth, looking at me.
hmm.
I mean, from the angle, the view that I got, they had, you know, uh, his waist to be 9 foot tall. His waist was an inch and a half higher than he had. No, he had it combed, his head combed to the back, but the way he had long arms and his to be 9 foot tall, his hips were higher than mine.
Right.
You know, so so I guess the leg length of it, his legs were probably long as mine, maybe a little longer, but he might have
Yeah.
had a bigger hip too, But every Sasquatch is not going to look exactly the same. You're going to have short ones, skinny ones, fat ones, big ones look like a brick mansion. They're all different kinds.
Hmm.
You got some with hair on the face, you got some without hair on the face. You got some like that look kind of look like in their face. It look like they have Down syndrome. Some might not have hair on their head. Might be kind of like blotchy. Their ears might be big. The ears might be small. They might have a long, skinny nose. They might have a long, fat nose, a real flat nose that's real wide. You know, and that's why people can't agree on a Bigfoot because they all look different.
Right.
That's the main thing, and the tracks. If scientists would get out in the woods and do hands-on and look at what we look at and understand what we understand by being out there and doing this, they might learn something. I mean, I'm constantly being ragged on here every single day. I don't tell people much, but I'm constantly ragged on here by people who's into science, like the way what you went through the past couple of days. And
Right.
I tell them, get your butt. I told them, I said, tell you what, come down to my area and let me teach you what I know, what's in my area. Every area is not going to be the same. Your area is different from mine,
Yeah.
you know.
Well,
But
Fred, I was just gonna say, with I'm not saying all are like this, but a great majority, and I have experienced this and observed this for myself, that a lot of these highly well-educated individuals they're book smart and they know what they've studied or gone to school for. They know it in their head. But there's a difference when it comes to applying logical and uh, what's the
Anybody,
word?
anybody,
Common logical and common sense. If you don't have that, as far as I'm concerned, what your education is, and you're trying to apply it with something in the wild that's unknown or unclassified to science, or anything, as far as what nature provides or the mystery behind nature itself.
right.
As far as I'm concerned, their words are pointless. Now anyone if any of these people are reviewing that heard me say that, they're like, well, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, problem is they don't have common sense, and I'm
Yeah,
not saying that about all of them, but there is quite a few of them that are like that. So,
yeah. Well, here's the thing about it. They got all these books on everything that is known in the world except a Bigfoot. So
right,
I tell people all the time, I don't read every book that teaches you something. When it comes to squatching, that right there, my friend, is common sense. Science is good, but science doesn't tell everything.
Right.
Reading books you smarter. Yeah, it might make you book smart.
Right.
Common sense, they don't have it. If it say blah 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 in DNA for a Sasquatch, they don't believe it because science.
has not said so yet.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
and science is good. Go ahead.
oh no, I'm just gonna say, as far as regards to science, if you tell one of these science buffs that science is not always right, there's some of them that don't agree with you. Science is the key answer. Science is the way is the way to find proof and truth in everything. Well, another thing is, it's not, because science makes mistakes. Science is wrong sometimes, and some of these individuals. That's why I'm trying to be careful how I word this. Some of these individuals do not look at it like that. They don't realize that. But out of own scientists' mouths, they admitted their errors and admitted they humble themselves. Todd Distel is a good example. He publicly announced his error. He made on his interview and on his show that he was on with Richter. He explained how many years ago he made a finding, or his results is what he believed in. But years more recent, due to the technology and the advancement with studies, he come to find out he was completely wrong, and he admitted to that. Dr. Haskell
Yeah,
Hart said scientists make mistakes all the time, but it's up to the individual to yeah, it's up to the individual to be humble and to admit to it. You know, um, I think it's
because
yeah. No, go ahead.
yeah, science is not going to be the key factor in the discovery of Bigfoot. I mean, that's
Right,
fine, but in my opinion, what's gonna solve the case is common sense. That's what I believe is gonna prove that Bigfoot. Yeah, anybody, all them guys can do all the science they want. That don't mean a hill of beans. I'm a straight A student in math, but
right,
I'm not gonna say that. Oh, it's gonna take science to prove Bigfoot's real. No, if you've been through what we mainly me and you went through, like I say, common sense is gonna prevail because having a science degree don't mean doodly squat unless you have common sense.
right,
Like like Steve lives in West Virginia. Cheryl lives in Maine. Me and you live in Virginia. Just because Steve's in West Virginia don't mean he ain't a smart man where he lives at. Hell, he could be smarter. He could be smarter than all the rest of us because he's got common sense. I
right,
got common sense. Country folks has got common sense. College kids that live in cities and think nothing else but science is stupid, in my opinion. They
mm,
think because they got a science degree that they're gonna prevail on everything they do. They're smarter than anybody else. Believe it or not, folks, country folks are more smarter and way more common sense than you city boys. So I got but the way I'm speaking is it's my opinion. I don't know about anybody else, but my opinion is common sense is what's going to prevail on the discovery of Bigfoot. We know they're here.
Yes, we do.
Steve's heard them. I've seen them. You've seen them. And you can't. That's something you can't take away because once you see a squash man, it's burned in your head for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Now, just kind of slightly off the subject, Steve was telling me earlier. I just thought about it, and maybe he could. Maybe get ready to share what you was telling me earlier, Steve. Steve was on the podcast last night. He had to jump off, and he sent me a message explaining why he had to jump off. And Steve, if you want, I'm gonna go ahead and let you take that from here, because before you share what you told me, remind everybody who's viewing and who's listening that as far as where's the nearest residence or where's the nearest people around your territory?
Living close to me, on the other side of this valley behind me is there's some people living, and on the road I'm on a quarter of a mile off. I got a neighbor right here across from me, but it's only three of us here close, I think.
Okay.
Within a mile. It's really rural. I mean, what you have up here are mainly hunting cabins that are used in the fall, and wintertime is very desolate up here.
Mm-hmm.
Summertime you have holidays you have more people, but that's about it.
Right.
Weekend warriors is what I call them.
Yeah. Because now last night you had something happen or you heard something.
Yesterday I used my phone. I never use my phone for a podcast, but for whatever reason I used my phone. And I was sitting out here like a nice evening. I like to sit outside. And behind me, I'm sitting on my deck. Behind me, the hill drops down. My property goes down about 700 feet, so it's probably about 1,000 foot to the bottom of the mountain that's behind me. Somewhere down there, it sounded like a tree went down, or a good-sized limb, or something big cracked.
Now, before you go on, do you recall any wind last night?
No. It's wind now, but it wasn't wind last night.
Okay.
I remember being calm. It wasn't raining. It was just a nice evening. And what I heard sounded similar to a fox, and I know what a fox sounds like. And you know how a fox, Fred, I know you know what how a fox screams.
Oh yeah.
It was that scream, but it wasn't a fox. It was a lot louder, and it was crazy. It actually startled the heck out of me. But having my phone, that's the only way I have to record something on my phone. So I dumped off the podcast to try to record the sound, and by the time I got off the podcast and got my phone situated to record it, it had went to the east down that valley, I guess about a half a mile to 3/4 of a mile, and screamed again, but it was too far for my phone to pick up. And that was within a matter of 15 to 30 seconds. It had moved that fast.
Was it a real super loud guttural yell?
No, it was a scream. I thought a woman was getting killed.
I've heard that up Elkhorn before.
It sounded like a fox. You know how a fox screams? You know what I'm talking about? A fox has a scream?
Yeah.
Well, this was 10 times that.
Yeah.
It sounded like someone being murdered. But it only did it one time, and before I could get the recorder up to get a good recording of it, it was gone far enough away I couldn't get a recording of it. It was just that fast.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like a location yell, like "hey," or something like that. But it was a fox type sound.
High pitched, really high pitched.
Yeah.
Did it sound anything close to this? Hold on.
Meow.
Hold on. The volume.
Yeah, there you go. Similar to that.
Okay. That
Because I've
that
heard
happened
that.
about two.
I've heard,
Yeah.
yeah, I've heard that before up there at the lake when I was up there with my little brother and them a few years ago. I told the people I was with them, I said, that's a squatch right there. They give me every scenario, every excuse why it wasn't a squatch. But that sound is exactly what I heard. It was closer though, you know.
Yeah.
It freaked me out enough. I just went inside and I said, I'll just stay inside for the night. It gave
Yeah.
me the willies. You know, it shook me up.
Oh, it will.
And it was, yeah, it was I thought the tree fell on somebody. I really got worried for a minute, but then when I heard it second time, I knew it wasn't somebody. There's no
Hmm.
way. There's no roads down there. There may be a game trail down there, but ain't nobody gonna move down through those woods that fast. Not gonna happen.
Yeah.
The
'Cause
thing
even
about it is, you got you got them close to you, your place. I got them close to my place. Daniel's got them in his area. But to scientists, they'll say, "Oh, cat, that's a fox." They'll give you except because they do not know every sound a particular animal makes. A fox has 5 different sounds for location and distress and to call its babies or to call a partner. People in the science world, like college kids and shit, they don't know stuff yet. So they give you their scenario. Oh, it's this, it's that. They give you everything except.
hmm.
My grandfather said they always told me you're born with one of two things, either book smart or common sense. I thank God I was born with common sense.
That's the best way to be born.
Book smart.
Well, hey Steve, while you're on here, one of the questions I was asking Fred because I'm like before when me and Fred started, I decided to kind of use this open discussion podcast as kind of like a almost like an interview, but yet I'll ask Fred a question and we'll kind of kind of use it as a discussion go along thing. But one of the questions I asked Fred was as far as evidence to you, in your opinion, what do you consider evidence of Sasquatch or solid evidence that because regardless of what we believe is evidence, physical or not physical, science is not going to agree either way. So, but yeah, if you want to go ahead and speak your mind on what you think evidence is, I wouldn't. I'd like to hear your opinion too.
Honestly, I think it's going to come down to each individual person what they believe or don't believe.
Right.
What has happened in the past with the hoaxing, even if
Yeah.
a body was to come out, what's happened in the past, I think it's been tainted enough that there's going to be people that just aren't going to believe it. They're going to just think
Right.
it's another hoax, no matter what's said. Um, you know, for me, Jimmy Hillcutt, pretty much, has with that man's background and what he said has has proven to me without shadow of a doubt they exist.
Right.
I mean, he's a professional at what he does, and you know, you hear stories. You got to take each story with a grain of salt.
Right.
And I guess unless a person actually has an experience, whether it be face to face or even something they can't explain, unless they have an experience where that's what they feel it was. I think it's just going to come down to that because it's it's been tainted so bad. It's just it's like I hate to say it, but it's like religion is. It's going to come down to what people believe and don't believe.
Right. All right.
That's true.
Cheryl, just curious. Did you have anything you wanted to ask or throw out there?
Well, I agree with you all about book smart and common sense. I'm not book smart at all, but I got a lot of common sense. And people just like what Steve said that they're gonna believe and they're not gonna believe. unless they have that actual proof. I don't know what kind of proof they need. If they need it, like footprints, or they actually gotta see it for themselves. Is what I think. I think in their mind, in science, it's just science is. I don't know what science, like Fred said. Don't know. I don't know if it was Fred or Steve that said it. What they really want for proof.
Yeah, I
You
think
know.
I think with a lot of science, a lot of them will tell you it's all gonna boil down to having a body on their table to examine. You know, I think that's the only thing that's gonna really get to them. I think even if one of them was to be out in the woods and see something, that I don't think that's gonna be. Bigfoot could be 5 feet in front of them and staring at them dead in the face. 7, 8 foot tall, and I really think they're so stubborn and so caught up in their way of thinking. I I almost think that uh, a physical close encounter is not going to be good enough to some of them. I mean, I don't know. That's just my opinion, and that's the way the way I look at it. Like we said, to science, the physical footcast that a lot of us do find out in the middle of the woods, to me that is evidence in my book because you know me and Fred knows my area. I know Fred's area. But the thing is, when we go out, we don't announce when we're going out, and people don't know the specific areas. And for those who might be familiar with where me and Fred go, there's so much terrain in those woods. There's so much thousands of acres in those woods. They don't know what general area that we might be popping into. Because when I go into my area, there is a couple concentrated areas where I keep focus on because these certain areas I have received a lot of activity and I've had my own experiences in these specific areas. Now, there's other areas I go and visit on occasions. Like this one area where I found my 16-inch footcast. I've heard stories of that area, things that people heard and experienced up there. I have never been up there. As far as never really experienced anything in that area. So it came down to it. Well, I need to start seeing and investigating this specific area for myself. And when I first went in there, I was hiking in. I went up on this private road and I had to hike in a good ways. And when I got to this other secret little road that split off of this private road, I decided to take a good walk in there. And I was getting disappointed, but I got further and deeper into it when I was blown away by all the scattered trackway I found. And I showed everybody all the tracks on my video footage. And I showed the ones that I was casting. I saw 2 or 3 around the same size, and there was other smaller ones. I mean, the smaller ones could have been a combination of juvenile squatches and bears. I mean, thing is, because I know bears go through there, I see evidence of a lot of different animals that are in those areas. But to come across tracks that are pretty obvious, 16-inch tracks that show toes. When it comes to a bear, I don't think so. I mean, unless you got somebody why would somebody be in that area trying to hoax in that area? I mean, unless they're just playing games for other people that might pop into that area. Because in this area, yes, during the hunting season, hunters do go into this area, but only during the hunting season. I have found evidence in there of hunters, empty gun shells and boot tracks, but apart from that, with what I found, no, there was no denying what I found. But yeah, for those who look at Sasquatch in a that are undecided, I guess that lean not for sure. I guess considering the skeptics, they would question that finding, and I've been questioned. I deal with skeptics at work, and I like to believe that they do have an open mind. They've questioned me. Well, could it have been this? Could it have been that? Well, the one in particular skeptic he knows me. He knows my character. When I showed those areas, because he's camped in this area before, and he was honest with me. He was actually convinced on his part that what I found was real, and and he trusts me. He knows I don't go around planting evidence and stuff like that, and I was blown away from it because what I found, it wasn't new, but it wasn't entirely too old. It was, I guess you could say, I don't know, it was still there where it provided details of showing toes and the whole long length of the foot, but but yeah, I think it depends on individuals and how they look at it. Everyone sees things differently. I don't think everyone, we won't always understand everybody and on how they look at things, but I don't know. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm not trying. As far as some of these individuals I dealt with recently, I'm not going to try to convince them any otherwise because I think they are stuck in their ways. But I don't know.
You
It's
just
hard to
gotta
get inside
ignore
their
it,
head.
Daniel. Just ignore it.
Yeah.
Just don't
Oh,
pay
yeah.
no attention to it. You're doing an excellent job on your research. I 100% support you. You know that. I
Well, I
just
appreciate
totally,
that.
but you just need to just ignore it because it's all they want is a reaction just to keep it going and going and going.
Right.
I can
You
agree.
keep on.
I can
Go ahead,
agree.
Fred.
I can agree with her on that because, like Paul said the other night, look what me and him went through. They get
Oh,
us,
Oh,
yeah.
they get us riled up, But what people don't realize is Sasquatch is an individual. He spends his whole life in the woods. They know stuff. They know how to survive, and like everybody, like Paul said before, they've seen what humans have done over the thousands of years, and that's why Squatches don't want to have anything to do with us. When we go in the woods, we look for them. We get lucky. Like I get lucky, I might see one, I'll hear them. They'll peek at us, stuff like that. But as far as them bothering us, they want us to leave them alone. We just happen to be in the right spots at the right time. I've learned that.
yeah,
If
but you
if
know what? They're the smart ones. They're the
yeah,
smart ones. They don't want to communicate. I've been thinking for a while. They don't want to communicate with us because they're smart. They want to
yeah,
stay away.
yeah,
Yeah.
here's the thing about it. You know, I've been doing this since '81, and I've come to the terms to realize that a Squatch can tell about you before you even think about knowing where he's at. He knows that you're in the woods before you even take. You can you can pull up to the woods and still sit in your car, and that Squatch will know you're there. He could be 5 miles back in the woods, but he will know you're there. They
So
think
they have
fast.
that can they smell that?
No, they can sense it.
Sense
But
it?
but like you say, all right, their eyes absorb light.
Right.
Their hearing is phenomenal. Their smell makes ours look like their senses are so great. That's why we cannot figure them out. Like Paul said the other night, when we think we got to contemplate on how we're going to do it. So it takes us about a couple of seconds for us in our head. A Squatch is like boom, he's on the move before he thinks about it. And scientists can't figure that out. They say, well, they'll give you every excuse what they think, but what they think doesn't mean a hill of beans.
Right.
You got to think like a Squatch, and you've got to be extremely smart. I, Everybody on this panel's got common sense, good old country common sense. But we are kindergartners. We are preschool people compared to the mind of a Squatch. They
Well,
got that. They got thousands of years over top of us. So we're the ones that's got to learn about them. They know all about us. And that's why it's so hard. Like, so I'm going to go out, I'm going to shoot one, and I'm a good freaking one is ever going to do it.
Right.
Nobody. Damn intelligent.
Yeah. That reminds me of a quote here I saw earlier, if I could remember where I saw that. As far as when it comes to teaching or understanding, there was a quote. I'll read it off to you in just a second. I probably won't be able to find it. Give me a second. I should find it very soon here.
Skeptics don't want to believe so bad, even if you show them evidence. They don't want to believe it, and they're not going to E.C.B.R.O. They're going to deny it any way they can.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
There's
Like
people that are not going to be proven wrong.
Right.
because it makes them look bad. All right, like I was being ragged by this radio guy. He he wears a cowboy hat, got red hair, beard, and all that stuff. And he started ragging. Him and his brother started ragging the crap out of me. They got city smarts, but they can go out with you, with me, with Daniel, anybody who's been out in the woods as long as we have. We could teach them something that's common sense, and their head and their brain cannot comprehend what we're teaching them. What we do all our life, they can't comprehend it because it's not what they're want. It's not what they think it is.
Right.
But here's a quote. It's I can't pronounce the name by the individual that is Ignacio Estrada is who it's by. I don't know. It's a quote. If a child can't learn the way we teach, maybe we should teach the way they learn. I like the way that's said. But now one thing I wanted to one of the things I wanted to bring up as far as animals. Think of how animals are. We see animals in the woods, but they acknowledge us as well, and sometimes they acknowledge us before we even see them. Well, the animals, they're not going to hang around. They know our presence, and they have a smart instinct. Their natural reaction for defense is to get the heck out of Dodge, or either that, some of them will hide or dip behind, because especially a deer. I've observed deer showing or expressing the alertness, like, there's somebody here. Yep. Or their ears, they're alert. They know there's something around. They'll stop and listen. They'll look at attentive. And I believe the same thing. Which basically it's kind of like what you said, Fred. But in other words, I believe this the same thing when people are in the woods. Okay, it's their natural smart instinct. Like any other animal, they're not gonna hang around for their defense, and I guess you could say their privacy. They're not gonna hang around. They know how to hide themselves. If they're curious, they'll hide, but yet observe. And that's the way I look at it. I mean, I know a lot of people say they are a type of people. I'm not going to say otherwise. I mean, I'm not going to deny that because, I think people can look at our known primates, apes, as far as chimpanzees, gorilla. Some people can look at them as a type of people. Well, even though because their DNAs are very similar to ours, but they're not humans. So regardless if Sasquatch comes out having a similar DNA to us, it's no different than unknown primates. And Mel believes they are a type of people, and that's fine. But you know what? I think they have a lot of animals. I believe a lot of animals are a lot smarter than a lot of us humans because it's their natural instinct from their development and adaptation, living in in the woods and they've learned to defend and be smart to protect themselves. And I believe that's pretty safe to say. As far as how they defend themselves by hiding and staying elusive. Just like bears, even though bears are seen, they're still pretty elusive. They don't hang around. I mean, I think there's an issue if the bear hangs around long enough while you're there, but it might be something to be concerned about.
Yeah, you want to go the other way.
Yeah. Yeah, if they're going to hang around, you might want to get out of town.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Yeah.
Been there, done that.
Let's see. Let me see. I'm just checking out because I know a lot of people were sharing things in the live chat, which was pretty interesting here. Hold on. Oh no! A stupid phone. Um. Here we go. Yeah, there's a couple of quotes that people are saying on the live chat. Referring to what we were talking about earlier about the book smart thing. Bill Saltman said, "Book smart is nothing until you have seen it and are out researching." And he also says, "People are all over on personal opinions. Many of them with odd ideas have not seen or had any type of encounter, so they are not in the know. But they also don't want to hear anything different." He's right. They don't, because a lot of them are stuck in their ways, and welcome to the live chat, Chris Murphy. He said, "How is it, fellow Bigfoot people?" He's cool.
Hello.
He always jumps on the live chat. So yeah, but Oh, am I still breaking? I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't realize that I'm breaking up. But
I hear you just fine.
Oh, okay. Fred said I was breaking up bad because I know he was early when I was hearing him. So, yeah, I don't know what it is. It could be the network too on my part.
I'll just tell him to sit still.
Fred. Oh Lord. Hey Fred, did you ever get my message about the weekend of the 25th?
Yeah.
Because Greg and his son are coming up that weekend.
Oh, okay. I'll probably have to ride up with you though.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we're gonna be up there camping.
Okay.
I would go up that Thursday after work, but by the time I get up there, it'll be probably dark. It takes almost an hour to get up there, so I'll probably head out, early Saturday. I'm not Saturday, excuse me, early Friday because I'm off that Friday, the 25th, which is my birthday. Yay!
What are you gonna be? 47?
Oh, really? Try 11 years younger.
So y'all saying I'm the oldest one on here?
Well, Steve's shaking his head, yeah.
We all learn from the wise one. The wise.
And I guess I'm it. Yeah.
I must be the young one. No, Daniel's the young one.
Yeah, I'm the baby here. I'll be 36 on the 25th.
Oh, jeez, you're getting old.
I'm 44.
God, I can't remember what 44 was like. That was a long time ago.
I'm catching up to you.
I'll be 60 in 4 years.
Wow.
Man, you'll be starting to turn to dust soon, huh?
It's almost time for maple syruping pretty quick here. Probably could do it now.
Oh, we've been having our Maple Fest here out in Highland County. They had a Maple Fest this past weekend. They're doing it again this coming weekend. So
Yeah, when I lived over, I used to help make uh, maple syrup. Me and the Hulls and the Eagles and the Armstrongs over in Doe Hill.
hmm.
We would take and go out and plug the trees and get the sap and boil it up with some sugar and all sorts of crap and can it.
Sam!
What's up?
Hey, welcome aboard, Sam.
Sorry, been at work all day.
Oh no, you're fine. I usually don't do these during the week, but lately I have been the last couple nights. I mean, um, just getting on for open discussion. No specific topics on hand, but we've been asking and getting opinions on different research topics, and we've been discussing. One of the main things we've been discussing is evidence in particular.
Right.
Since you're on here, can I put you on the spot?
Yep, put me on the spot.
Okay. Well, I've asked both Fred and Steve. One of the questions we were talking about is evidence. Us researchers, going out and finding evidence, and how what is evidence to us is not considered evidence at all to either a skeptic or anyone in the scientific world. According to science, it would most likely take a body.
True.
But in your opinion, what is evidence? What is evidence that you would consider proof, or that would acknowledge, to you that would acknowledge existence, regardless, like, yeah, just I guess
I
that's the
mean,
best way to
it's
put
to
it.
me, it's gonna take something physical. Maybe not so much a body, but actual. I mean, we know they've done studies on hair samples and whatnot, and flesh possibly or whatever. But until somebody, here's my thing. Anybody, you mail these samples off, anything can happen from your house to the laboratory, and that's just my opinion. But now, as far as like I've got the footprint, I've got yells, and I was thinking today, and I'm glad we're having this discussion. I went up to Flag Rock Recreation Area, which is on High Knob, and as I was driving up through there, I started thinking about these tree breaks because I actually deleted 2 videos that I had taken from the day before yesterday on High Knob because my thing is when in doubt, rule it out, and so I didn't feel like they were sufficient to share. But I think
Right.
it's gonna take physical. Now the one with the tree up in the trees on my video, I can't figure that out. But
Right.
there's and I just saw Julie Rich had, I guess that's how you say her last name. She had just posted something about how in nature trees bend, and she's got a nice nice article on it. So because I always thought these trees that are bending or bent over, that's got to be something to do with nature. There's just it's got to do something with it. Now that I'm not ruling out the ones that I've seen bent over, young trees that are bent over underneath the old logs, like big logs. So that log's been there longer than that young tree. Now
Exactly.
how the hell did that young tree get up under that log? And Fred, you can attest to that. I know you've seen some in your area too, haven't you?
I've got some massive trees that are tucked underneath logs. A trees big as a basketball, about 40 foot high, bent over and tucked underneath logs. But that's a sign that they use. Because if you walk through the woods, you start seeing bends, bows. You start seeing far, pointing in a certain direction. You'll see tucked under the logs. You'll see trees bowed over in 3 different directions coming together that you make like it looks like a half a TP formation.
Mm-hmm.
Now I went out yesterday and I made a video. I had to redo a video because someone said they saw a squatch, but probably a tree. So I went back out and I redid the video, and that's exactly what it was. It was just it was the way I was standing and moving with a GoPro.
Mm-hmm.
But I found 3 structures that specifically interested me. There were like 4 trees kind of bowed, you know, from like, say, like 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock, or say from 3 to 9, inward and forward. Then one at 10 o'clock bowed right in between all of them, going
Mm-hmm.
down like that. Nature can't do that.
Yeah, I've got one of those too that I actually made a video. It's the same exact thing as what you're describing.
Yeah, and when nature, I try to tell people when nature, like, you got certain textured woods, you got like softwood, medium wood, and hardwood.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If you notice on my videos, I'll explain the back part and the inner part. When the back part is stretching, the inner part is shrinking. What that does, it takes a tremendous amount of strength to get that tree bent and make it stay in that position. Nature can't do that. So, you know, there's a lot of things that you got, you know, like I'm an arborist, so, you know, I've studied this stuff, you know, and when I go in the woods, you know, yeah, I see a lot of stuff that, yeah, it could be a squatch, but yet I look at the common sense part of it. Nature has a lot to do with it too. You got to think of the wind, the weather, and everything else.
Right.
And we got pine thickets, you know, and we got hardwoods, and we got softwoods, you know, but the softwoods I can see, you know, blowing over, you know, and happen to, you know, like if we get like a 50-mile-an-hour wind, they'll blow a pine tree over about maybe a foot, and it goes underneath the branch, and it looks like something bent it over and put it under the branch. That's what I consider part of nature. But when you take and get stuff that's bent, twisted, tucked under, um, I got one tree in my area. It's about a foot wide. If you put it, if you it's broken. It's broken half now. But if you take a 12-inch ruler and put it on top of it, it's 1 inch. It's 12 inches wide. This was bent and tucked underneath a rock, about 8.5 foot high, and it was bent over like that, you know. So there's a lot of stuff, you know. There's a lot of trees, like a lot of stuff in nature does that does for you, but you got to know what you're looking at to realize it. Now I noticed I've watched a video of yours today about you was at a looked like a rock wall, and it had holes in it. It had old
Yeah.
wood. What was that?
That's that's near my research area. It's on our side of High Knob, but it's a those rocks. There's about, man, there's all maybe 12 that I've counted. There's probably more, but they're huge boulders. But you drive over that particular one, but I did take a couple of those samples and found out it is petrified wood, and that rock is actually over like the ground there, so there's logs underneath there, and it's petrified. It's pretty cool. But that's on High Knob also.
Yeah. So you're saying that they either had to take something and make a hole with it, or it was the rocks were laid down on it.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is definitely done by nature, 100%. But see, I didn't know if it might have been iron that might have been in that rock, or if it was petrified wood, because the way it was coming out was round. It was round like a like a branch.
Yeah.
And after analyzing the video farther with the science teacher that I know at the high school here, he said, look, you can tell where the ground is. And the funny thing is, I went to Hazard, Kentucky today, and he said, on your way up there, there's a couple spots I want you to stop and look, and I bet you it's the same soil composition. And it was. I couldn't believe it. So, yeah, it's petrified wood. That's, that's up there where I'm sure you guys got the same stuff. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Now this picture here, Daniel, is I think it was at a park or something, and there was a cub up in a tree, but he didn't want to come down, so Mama had to go break the tree to get him out the tree.
Yeah, well, this is a small one. This is just a random. I googled bear bending tree, and
Yeah,
this is one of the images I decided to share. I try to zoom in a little bit to get a better picture. That's why it looks a little blurry because I zoomed in.
yeah.
But you
But
can
you
see
can,
the bear bending the tree, and as it bended, you can see how if you look very carefully,
Mm-hmm.
it has a slight twist to it. It's just the angle. It's the angle that it bent the tree down.
well,
But you
probably,
know,
probably too, because there's got a stick holding that tree up, and there's a string tied there. So apparently, when she bent the tree over, tried to pull it one way, the tree twisted right there. It's because I can see it's a brick right there at that string.
right? Yeah, I was
Yeah,
trying to look up other ones to
yeah,
share
that's a,
too.
yeah, but
Well,
that's another thing you can think about too. It's part of nature.
well, normally though, when a bear is breaking a tree like that, in this situation, she's getting her young cub, but they also normally do it to fruit-bearing trees,
Yeah,
and and so I mean, if you see it on fruit-bearing trees, it's more than likely been a bear. But when you see it on a beech tree or something, it's why in the hell is a bear knocking over a beech tree, 6 foot up in the air. Now the one that was broken over on our ATV trail was a cedar tree. That's the one that was broken onto our ATV trail was a cedar tree.
Hey, let me
the
throw something at you.
yeah. Go
What's
ahead.
that, Steve?
I said, let me throw something at you.
Yeah.
All right, where do possums usually live?
Well,
Possums and raccoons usually go up in trees.
yeah,
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 So
hanging around on limbs.
if old Sassy wants some easy meal, it reaches up, snaps that little tree on down, and grabs itself that meal.
yeah.
True.
I've seen it.
I'm just throwing a thing out there, just as a hypothetical thing. You understand what I'm saying? Most animals in the woods, like possums and raccoons, live up in trees for protection. The Sasquatch wants an easy meal or sees it up in there. It's not gonna climb a little tree. It'll just snap that tree on down and grab itself its dinner and go on about its way.
Yeah, yeah, Fred. Yeah, I think this is what you were talking about. See
It's
that?
got a wire on there.
Yeah, but look at
Yeah,
the mama bear bending over, and look right here. There,
yeah.
I believe.
She's standing up on that tree. She's like, "Come on down, tree. Oh, come on, honey. I'm
Let
coming. I'm
go.
coming."
Yeah, yeah, but there's the baby cub right there.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen bears do that in the woods.
Right.
On sapling trees, and a sapling, yeah, I can understand it. But when you start getting when you start getting tree bends all pointing in one direction, that's kind of odd. You know.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Hey, here's
Yeah,
one for you. Here's one for you. This happened last year. Didn't personally happen to me, but it happened to my brother-in-law. That's my brother-in-law is the one that owns the cabin we stay at all the time. So he has a twin brother, and so they all have ATVs up there. Well, up on top of Squatch Ridge, at the very end, they kind of like to sit up there and listen for nature, see what's going on. They're hunters. And it was funny, man. They were about to
I
leave.
guess
They
it's for.
started up their ATV, and 40 foot up in the tree, dropped out was a bear. Dropped out of the tree down to the ground, gathered
Hmm.
itself in about 5 seconds, and took off running.
Yep.
I think
Oh yeah.
and didn't know it was there. They were there for a good 10 minutes and had no clue that bear was up in the tree until they started to leave, and it fell out of the tree.
Well, that's like that. That's something very similar happened to me and Fred. Back in 2013, we walked down to the other area we camped at, and we were there talking to a couple of young guys that were packing up, and we were there right there in the campsite. We're there talking, and then something catches my attention. I hear something. By the time I look over, there's a bear. Because what I was hearing, you hear stuff falling from a tree. And I look over, and here's a bear. It's working its way down a tree, and I think it dropped out real quick from the last, maybe 6, 7 feet from the bottom. And as soon as it landed, it took off like lightning. All you saw was nothing but the rear end of that bear, and it took off away from us like real quick.
Man, you guys got to come down and camp because see, where our cabin is, there's nobody for miles. So I mean, it's not like it's a place where people can just come camp. So that's the good thing about it. All this woods back there, the only people that are on it are these guys that hunt, and there's like 5 of
Yeah.
them. So I mean, we would have free reign, man, of places that I'd love to go that I haven't visited yet. Yeah. I mean, I just think it'd be. I want somebody to come down that A, has equipment that I don't have, B, that's a lot more knowledgeable than me and can teach me some more things.
Me.
Yeah. So I mean, I just, I think that all of us together working on this, we all live, pretty close to each other, working out of Virginia. We're gonna come up with something this year. I feel it.
Well, that's where next weekend. This area, I never camped in this area. I've been out there. I've hiked. And I put a lot of time in hiking there, especially last weekend. Well, I've been getting too much information and too much reports from. I shouldn't say too much reports, but the reports are fresh, and in the stories I've heard, that's of things that have happened to other people in that area. There's something that's very active, and and there's something that's a little bold and blunt. I don't know if it's just one in particular. Maybe there's more than one that's like this, but there's one that likes to mess with campers around there. That's why I'm going to camp there.
There you go.
So yeah, and especially a picture that was shared with me 2 weeks ago that was taken just last year in about 2 or 3 inches of snow. These big, massive tracks that were like almost between 5 and 6 feet apart. And yeah, when they told me where it was, I told my buddy at work. I says, they said it happened on such and such area. He said, yeah, that's right there where you're going camping. I said, what? He said, it's on that's the same road. I said,
Wow.
wow, there's a monster there. So yeah, I hope when the night falls, I hope I get footage of him because I'll have my FLIR and excuse me, and I'll have my night vision camcorder with me. So yeah, my new monocular that
That's cool.
records. Yeah, so I mean, I'm definitely gonna make sure I got fresh batteries for it, and I'm getting me a much bigger SD card because I only have a little 8 gigabyte in there. Getting at least throwing one of my 32s in there. So yeah.
Who had the
So
three-toed print that I was reading on the comments or something? It was on the
three-toed print.
yeah, it was on the comment feed underneath on the YouTube. It said, "Hey Daniel,
Oh,
That's an inbred.
let me look because I'm actually let me go look under the live chat real quick. I was kind of ignoring it here for a second.
I read an article. Someone said there was some guy who's good on footprints said if you find one that's got 5 toes and all of a sudden you find one that's got 3 toes, it's probably an inbred or he's got a defect in his foot or something, like a bone defect or something like that.
Ooh,
Can't
here's
remember.
here's a good question on the live chat. Yeah, Sasquatch Supernatural says, well, it's asking, do you think a dog whistle would affect Bigfoot hearing?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know if I've heard that question before, but that is interesting. I don't, I can't make no statement on that, but you can't say it can't because it's a possibility. I think. I mean, depends. That depends if their hearing's like ours, they may not even hear it at all. But you know,
I
uh,
believe that if you use a dog whistle, I think squatches can definitely most definitely hear it because there's their hearing is so phenomenal, like their
well,
vision
yeah.
and their smell.
I think for people that are saying if they could hear a game camera, I mean, come on. I mean, well, I take that back. If I'm standing next to my game camera, well, one in particular, my Moultrie model, if you walk in front of it and you catch the sensor, I hear a click in it if you're standing next to it. But
Yeah,
now
Tim.
my other one, my my real good game camera made by Browning. That one there, I don't hear nothing out of that one because
Yeah,
it don't even have a flash. It doesn't use infrared. It has an invisible flash, and I don't hear no sound whatsoever.
Yeah,
you're getting confused though.
yeah, because Tim Fasano did a thing on cameras, and every 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 kind of camera he set up there, when that camera went off, that deer, the bear, the coyote, or whatever turned and looked right dead at that camera.
Yeah.
Well, our female dog, she just had pups, and I had her all the way in the back of the house when I got off work, and she could hear her little pups inside. So, and I couldn't hear them. So I wonder. We need to look up on YouTube if a dog whistle has ever been tried with any primates, as you know, like chimpanzees or something like that. I don't know if a Bigfoot is a primate or from the human side, homo side. I don't know or whatever, but I'm saying maybe somebody could look that up and see if. I'm sure it's probably been done.
Keep
Hmm.
also in mind that you're talking about two different things. Good hearing doesn't also mean good a range of decimal hearing either. They could
True.
have excellent hearing where they could hear for miles, but that doesn't mean the range is the same as they could go up in the decimals that a dog does for the you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Yeah.
Good
decimal
point.
rating. It's not a range of hearing. That's
Hmm.
why we can't hear it and a dog can is because it's a very high pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
They may be able to hear a squash may be able to hear two people talk from 10 miles away, but that doesn't mean that it can hear that range of sound and that pitch of sound. I don't know. Nobody knows, but you'd have to.
It's a good thought, though. It's
Yeah, it's a
something that
great
makes you
thought.
think about it.
Yeah.
Hmm. Hold on. I'm actually looking up a couple things now. I'm trying to see which one might provide the best information here. Uh,
Is there
primates.
nothing on that
Well,
three-toed print
there's. Oh,
or
I'm not
something?
sure about that. I didn't see that one there. I'm not sure. Uh, tiny primates. Tiny primates speak in high frequency ultrasound.
Well, you got infrasound and you got ultrasound.
Right.
Now,
I'm just reading some. It says most humans can't hear in the range in that range, and a dog whistle is pitched to be just inside ultrasound, somewhere between 22 and 23 kilohertz. A handful of mammals can make sounds in this range. Some whales, domestic cats, and a few species of bats, but few can match the Philippine tarsier, which is a small primate. Uh, hmm.
Yet Claudia Ackley asks Fred,
Oh
Dan,
yeah.
and you, Dan, I found a three-toed print. Do you think it's inbreed? So is that you think it's inbreed, Fred?
I'm think
Well,
well, it could be either inbred or it could be have a birth defect. Those are the only two scenarios, unless he broke his foot and lost some toes or something,
Yeah.
But I remember hearing and read somewhere that when you find a squatch with 5 toes and you find one with 3 toes in the same group, that has to come from inbred.
mm,
That's
I
the
agree
only.
with you. I
So
agree
yeah,
with that.
yeah,
yeah.
it's a slight possibility. I can't, unless she has a picture of it displayed, I can't make no clear statement or judgment on it.
Well, the
Depend.
Patterson was before the Patterson Gilman film come out. Like a month earlier, they was up in that area. It was logging up in there, and they found footprints that had 3 to 4 toes, along with the the 5 toed prints going down a dirt road or going down a logging road, and it turned and went off in the woods. They was like 2 inches difference in the size. I think one of them was a 16, and the other one was a 14 or something like that. But the one that had
Yeah,
the smaller foot had the deformed foot.
yeah. But like I said, unless I'm seeing the track that she's seeing, it's hard for me to make any kind of accusations or assumptions towards it, because I mean, automatically thinking of a three-toed print, it could be something. I'm not saying she's misidentifying or seeing something, squatchy, but when I think of three-toed prints, I think of depends on the type of soil that's being stepped on, what's picking up, because in some tracks, even with deer, even with bears, you might only see half of their track, depending on that ground, the soil, the solid,
Well,
or the other three-toed thing that I'm thinking about could be a misidentified large
well,
turkey track.
yeah.
So,
Well,
Emu. Somebody's emu got
I
loose.
yeah. Well, I know the area that Claudia's talking about, and it's a little sandy. It's around pine thickets, so it's kind of I don't know. It's like you down in South Carolina, it's that kind of stuff right there. But hers is like a couple miles from her house, and I know the area she's talking about. So that's pretty well flat, and it's good topsoil and sand combined. So, and hers is mainly in and around the pines.
right.
So yeah, I can see where I can see what she's talking about. Now I
Yeah.
can now out in your area or my area or out in Steve's area. I mean, we got a lot of limestone in the Shenandoah Valley, and I'm sure you got a lot of limestone too out there. And
Yeah.
even Sam's got it down in his area. So you can have they could be walking, and 1 minute you'll see a 5-inch track, and all of a sudden you see the same track, but this time it might have 2 or 3 toes missing. It just all depends, because it's so rocky.
Mhm.
But when you get it on a good flat soil, like beachy type soil, like
Right.
soil that peanuts grow in, like down more towards Williamsburg or something like that, then you
Yeah.
just then you could definitely see some footprints. But up around our area, if it's not on flat soil, you gotta be pretty good at looking at a print and everything. It's like looking at prints in the leaves. I've trained my eyes to track in leaves, so I'm pretty good at tracks. And I've seen a
Yeah.
lot of oddball tracks. 5
Yeah.
toes, 4 toes, 3 toes.
Yeah, a couple things you just mentioned, a couple things about tracks. Well, one thing that you mentioned about the tracks and the leaves, I come across when you could not just see a pushed in impression, but you can make out the whole shape, toes, the shape of the foot, which is awesome. But what's disappointing is that when you want to share it, you want to videotape it, it doesn't show up on video footage as good as what we're seeing it in person. And I often make that statement when I'm recording something. I said, man, and because I'm looking through my camcorder, but then looking apart, I said, man, you guys probably can't see what I'm showing you, but man, it's awesome. It's what I'm trying to show you is really clear here, but
Yeah,
on footage it doesn't.
yeah. But
And
it's like yesterday. I video tracked a 5-inch footprint walking down that last trail. I mean, looking at it, it was perfect. But
right,
looking through the camcorder, really couldn't see it. So
yeah,
even though I put the cover of the camcorder down next to it, I mean, from my audio recorder, you still couldn't see the print. But
yeah.
but when you look at it with your eyeball, it's perfect. But with the camcorder, you can't. So yeah, it's kind of difficult on trying to record one in leaves. That's the hard part of it.
See, that's where I need help with you guys, because I think my mind tends to start matrixing a print. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this could be a print. So here lately, anything I find in leaves, I tend to kind of throw out, because to me, I'm not that good. Now, the prints we've got that we casted, of course, are great, but it's when it comes to leaf litter and stuff, I'm just not. I don't feel like I'm not there yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, I need to say something real quick because there's questions and stuff that I overlooked on the live chat. Actually, another one from Claudia. She's asking. She says that we have great casts. She wants to know what kind of plaster do we use? Plaster or Paris?
Yep, basically, that's what it all is.
Hey, what about hydraulic cement? This is one of my construction buddies told me. He's like, Sam, what about hydraulic cement? Have you ever tried that?
No,
Well,
I'm gonna be honest. I haven't used that. It depends. Is that something that takes a longer time to set up?
I don't think so. And then another
'Cause
one
the-
you mentioned was rock hard water putty.
No, no.
And
Yeah, plaster of Paris is it's
Yeah.
simple, easy. It's in order to mix that, it's simple. It's like anyone that makes pancakes or waffles.
yeah,
Think of that. It's quick and easy to set it up. That and depending on temperatures,
true.
in warmer temperatures, your track will set up. It may take a little longer, but it cures a lot better. Cold weather, you got to be careful because it could set quick, but be more brittle.
I'll tell you
So.
something. I'll tell you something to try, and I've tried. Someone told me about it, and I tried it. You know how you got that foam in a can that keep foam in a can. Take you a
Mm.
piece of plywood about 14 inches wide and about 16 inches long, and when you see a track, lay that lay that cardboard lightly on that footprint and spray that foam up in there until it comes out, and you just press on it and just
Hmm.
put a rock on it for about 15 minutes, then pick it up, and you got that whole footprint in that foam.
Now That's a good idea. I'm gonna experiment with that. I mean, it doesn't come out all bubbly or nothing like that. Is it supposed to be like smooth spray?
Well, that's why you use the plywood. With the plywood, when you put pressure on the back part of like back where the heel is going forward, you just ever so lightly, but you spray it in there. Once it starts coming out, you just start to press, kind of like press it down real slow until it all comes out. Then you just level off. You don't push down on it. You just keep it. You just to keep enough weight on it, to let it ferment. And then after about 15 minutes, then just pick it up off her real closely and take a putty knife and just kind of scrape it off the board real quick. But it will show you a perfect track.
Hey
Mm.
Claudia, let me recommend this too, because the tracks that was found by that preacher, the first one that I tried to cast, I ruined it because it was too thin. So I versed myself on how to do a cast, and I used plaster of Paris we bought from Lowe's, but I used and I actually made a form because the area that ours was in was like a crushed coal pit. So the texture was it was a little different. But be careful making those anytime you do. And Dan, you probably tell her a lot more about it than I can. You've got several more than I do.
Well,
Let me tell you
yeah,
another
go
thing.
ahead, Fred.
Go to like a store that sells crafts and stuff like that for school for kids in schools,
Oh
and
yeah,
there's a box. It weighs about 4 pounds. It's a special made plaster Paris. What
yep,
you do is you make a super thick pancake batter.
yeah. I
Now
try not
here
to make it.
now
Yeah,
here's
I
the
try not to
trick.
make it.
Yeah, now here's the trick. Take you some hairspray. Like go buy some Nair or some cheap hairspray. Spray the track down. Then put the plaster in there. What the pla-
Yeah,
What does that
what
do?
it keeps the mud and everything keeps the mud and everything from sticking to it.
and
Uh-huh.
and not just that, it preserves the details that's going to be going into the track.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
you know who gave that presentation or that idea in his Bigfoot guide pamphlet?
Who?
Dr. Jeff Meldrum.
I love that guy.
Yeah,
I do.
yeah,
I think he got duped into that, the TV deal. First few minutes into it, I knew that they did him raw on that.
yeah. I want to. Bill Saltman says when we were talking about footcasts and stuff. He says I use both plaster of Paris, but I add a little calcium into it. He said I also use dental impression casting, which
Hmm.
that's interesting. Um.
I think Cliff does that. Cliff Barrickman.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or how you
Huh.
say, Brockman, Barrickman,
Y-
however you say his last
Yeah.
name.
Let me see what. Hold on. Claudia commented under my post. Let me see what she said in Monster X Radio. Um. Oh, cool. Well, thank you, Claudia. We love you viewing. Because Claudia says I love listening to you guys. That is awesome. We're still live, so feel free to. I hope you're still watching. So, but yeah, as far as casting and everything, I know it's something when you're finding a track to cast, it's exciting. The main thing to do is just take your time with it. So just kind of not rush into it. Take your time and know what you're doing. And when you pour your cast, definitely pour it slow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not just to prevent mess, but it could actually destroy the image of the track that you're casting.
Hey, Fred, and have y'all ever come across a cougar or mountain lion track?
Oh, yeah.
Or, I mean,
Yeah.
have you seen one?
I've got one. Yeah. We've got one. We had one cross the road on us, but what, 6-7 months ago?
Yeah, black one.
But
Yep.
the DNR swears up and down they don't exist in our area. Am I correct?
Yeah, well,
If you go on there's actually a local website for the from out of the. I think it's something to do with the Department of Game and Injury.
yeah,
If you look, Rockingham,
yeah,
Augusta, several counties that have them.
There's the University of Richmond come down one day or one weekend, and they plastered papers all up and down the Shenandoah Valley saying there are no mountain lions indigenous to the Shenandoah Valley. All right, I got the number. I called the guy. We paid for his motel room at top half the mountain. I took him up on Bobcat Overlook, which is overlooking Waynesboro on the pay side. You got to pay to go up in there. And at 10 o'clock at night, on the way up, I said, "You see that rock right there?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "We're going to see him right there." He said, "Okay, fine." 10 o'clock at night, we got out. He said, "I don't see none." And I hit my flashlight, and there were two brown ones and a black one sitting on that rock looking at us. Now, he went back and said that he never seen anything because when they go to check see if there's any cats in the area, they'll use pie pans with sandpaper and peanut butter. So when they take and lick the peanut butter, the sandpaper plucks their hair off their whiskers. That's how they determine if there's any cats in the area. They don't come down and search in the mountains. They only go to certain places that the game committee said, well, we might have one over here, might have one over there, but they don't know exactly where to go. They're all up and down the Shenandoah Valley, all up and down the Blue East Parkway, all the way over toward your area.
Now, I'm going to talk about, well, actually, before I say what I was going to say about the cast and the track I found belonging to a mountain lion. I can't think of his name. Tracy Arnold. Him and Cliff Stanley, you could talk to them. When they're out hiking and scouting around, they've actually come across cat tracks. When I was down there with Tracy about almost a year ago. I was down there with him. We've actually seen some cat tracks down there in the area he calls Sasquatch Mountain. But yeah, you could talk to them. They see a lot of tracks down there. The combination of bobcats and mountain lion tracks down there. Now, there is a cast I have. All right, I've shared it before. Now, this one here, all right, a lot of people misidentify or get mistaken canine versus cat tracks because on some cat tracks they are similar to a canine. In a majority of cat tracks, you will not see in the tracks, or if it's in mud or whatever, you will not see the claws retracted. Now, in the one I have, a lot of people say that's a very large canine you have. Well, no, because you got to study this. You got to study the pad, the rear pad. I could show you some samples. Actually, I made a blog or two on my website in regards to cat tracks that display the tracks retracted, and I believe that does depend on the soil that they're stepping on. I think muddy soil might have a lot to do with a track. If they retract their claws for grip. But yeah, I'll share the link. Let everybody look at that, because if you look at some of these cat tracks and compare them to a canine track, you just might be surprised. Um, well, actually, I'll actually pull that up here in a little bit after I read the statement that um, Bill Saltman said. He's still referring to the casting of tracks, but and I think this is more like he's speaking for those who are kind of new or still getting into it. He's letting everybody know it's a good idea to practice on some prints at home. Get your product mixing right and get some practice. So when you need to do a cast, you'll be able to. That's a good idea and good point. Because one of the things I did, which I'm gonna do another one because it broke. Anyone who's seen my layout of my collection of casts, um, if you look to the far right in that picture, you'll see one that looks really human because it is human. It's my foot. I made that cast for comparison purposes. Because in mine, I got kind of a wide foot, and but in the detail of my cast, you can see the heel, you can see the instep, and the separation between the ball of the foot. So like I said, I use it for comparison reasons. Um, and I definitely recommend everyone doing that. If you're gonna make a cast, go out in your yard, find some soft soil, preferably, not mud, but soft soil that will pick up all the details of your foot, and then practice on it. You could do the same thing with your hand. Um, so, but meanwhile, if you guys want to discuss something while I find, I'm going to pull up a link here, and I'll post it and share it about cat tracks.
Did you see the two that I sent you on the podcast link, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. What now? I'm trying to figure out. These were pretty good size. I should have had a tape measure with me, but I didn't. But these were pretty good size tracks. I don't know what they are. What do you guys think?
I'll have to look at them. I can pull them up here and say. You said you put them on the podcast link?
Yes.
Yeah.
You just did it now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. Let me
right.
pull it up. That way everyone knows what you're. Oh, okay.
Okay, that first one right there, the one in the brown soil.
Mm-hmm.
How big?
That-
I mean,
See, that's the thing.
That's a cat track.
Yeah, that's cat track.
That's
let me look at it.
That's a young one.
That's pretty close to And this was the creek was dry, so I was walking up the creek, the dry creek bed, and trying to find tracks.
The one in the dark soil with the leaves.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bobcat track.
That one there.
That's a bobcat track in the darker soil.
All right, here I got a screen shared. All right.
Yeah, that right there's a young mountain lion.
But yeah, how big did you say? Yeah.
They were pretty good size. I mean, they weren't. I've seen bobcat tracks. They were about twice the size of bobcat tracks. I mean,
all right, now you see this right here. Now you don't see the claws retracted in this one, but my casts are about the same thing, but just throw claw marks in them. So, now that's why I'm working on pulling it. I'm gonna pull it up and I'm gonna share it for everybody. Let me go into my blogs here on my website because it's under my cat track ones. Here we go.
So it proves that wildlife use these dry. When this, now let me tell you, when this creek is going, like with the night that we got all the audio, that creek was really up. At this time, it was as dry as a bone, and this is, now I've got some other tracks too that I found in there, raccoon, and a couple others, if I still have them or not, but the raccoon was huge. That was a big raccoon track.
Mm. Yeah, I'll share this on. Hold on, let me see. I'll share this on the podcast group link. This is cat tracks. Yeah, I just posted the link there. All right, and what I'm going to do, I'll let everybody view. Give me a second. Let me stop this and go back out.
Damn, that's a big track, man.
All right.
I hate to say, Daniel, but that one with the when you're wearing that blue and white jacket, That's not a cat.
Hold on. What are you talking? Oh, no, that's not me.
Oh, it's
This
not
was
you?
under. No, these are images under cat tracks. These ain't all. These ain't found from me.
This second one here, the second one picture down, the one with the guy with the armor, that's not a
Yeah.
cat. That's not definitely not a cat track. That's a wolf track.
These are all under. This is all the research I've done under cougars and cats.
Yeah.
And,
Because look at that pad right there on the second one.
and I don't know why it's not pulling up on from me here. What the heck's going on here? I'm trying to do a screen share for it.
Hey, I just posted. Here's a trackway of that cat that I took in the gray, not the dark brown, but the gray. Might show you a little better. You might have to kind of pull it out, but they're really. I think he or she was jumping off because I was up on a ledge, kind of going, taking a picture down. So the cat might have jumped off. You kind of see where it might have slipped a little bit, but it looks like it's only got, the back pad and then 1, 2, 3. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know.
Oh, hold on. I got other windows popping up on me. I don't like that. Oh man, come on! Why are you doing this stupid thing? All right, I get all these other windows popping up right here.
Wow.
All right, but yeah, these are all
Oh my God.
cat tracks right here. Let me go down. Cause see, this is the other part you have to pay attention to.
Yeah.
The pad right here.
Almost looks triangle, don't it?
Yeah.
Right.
That's why I say it don't look like a cat track to me.
Yeah, these are all cat tracks with their closet retracted.
That's cool.
Now, like here's one, just kind of like what you showed us right here, but this one don't have the closet retracted, nor does this one. And this one here don't show no claws on this one. I really think it depends on a lot of the soil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, wait, okay. Did you just, Sam? Did you just send another picture to the link?
Yeah, that's the big raccoon. But look how it looks kind of human-like, isn't that? Or like a tiny little Bigfoot print. That the raccoon track on the far
Oh
right.
yeah.
Looks like a tiny little Bigfoot print.
All right, hold on. Let me go ahead and stop screen share. Let me go back out to what you're looking at. Hold on. Oh, this one here? Hold on, let me click on it. Go back to screen share. Oh, these here you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tiny little Bigfoot that we found there, guys, on the. But I mean, it kind of, looks, like a. But look at how defined they are, in that type of, it was almost mud, but not really. It was like silty mud.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. You guys got the same stuff, but how defined the tracks are. So anytime I come across tracks, whether what it is, I just take a picture of it. Now, if it's a deer, I won't. But these are pretty defined. I thought they were cool. But it just shows you how much of different type of wildlife uses that creek corridor there, as like a little highway going up and down through the holler,
Yeah. You see this track right here? This round one right here, there's a double split hoof?
Yeah.
That there, I'm going to tell you, that there that looks like a small, young elk track.
Huh.
That one there. because deers are usually a lot more narrower. That looks like that may be an elk. I could be wrong.
Well,
but
he's in the air. He's next to two counties that have herds of elk.
Yeah.
What counties are those, Fred?
Buchanan and Wise County. No, I mean,
With County's got them.
yeah, Wythe County. No, wait a minute. No, it's two counties that they say. Wise County is one of them, and it's the county up above Wise County.
Because they have, yeah. If you go in the local WalMarts and stuff, I know when I
Well,
was
they
down
bought
at,
and they kept them there for 2 years. Then they kept them there for 2 years to make sure that they didn't have no foreign diseases from one state to another, and then they turned them loose.
yeah.
So now we have Kentucky, West Virginia, Virginia are getting elk coming in now.
Because the history between the release of elk here in Virginia, I know back in the 1960s they released them, and later on, back in 1981, they actually they released some more, and I believe they slowly populated throughout the years and actually spread a little bit. But I know, like when I was down with in Tracy's area, we went into the local Walmart down there. You know, we went to the sporting goods section where, you know how if you go in certain places, they post pictures of people's kills during hunting season.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen pictures of mature bucks. You know, as far as elk goes, I mean, massive size elk down there. So
bull elk, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're Roosevelt bucks. I mean bulls. They're the elk, but they're the smaller elk. They call Roosevelts. They're the smaller version of a full-grown, like a Montana elk.
Right.
But they're just a smaller version, little smaller version of it.
That track we were just talking about, Chris Murphy says, looks like a fortune cookie. I say, actually, it really does, doesn't it? Now that I think about it. Yeah. So, oh man. So yeah, I think this weekend here, I'm not gonna be going out anywhere this weekend. I don't know. Maybe I might go down to the Coal Road, Fred.
Well, sure. Come on down, man. I'm planning on going up above Bald Mountain, going up to that last gate. Before you get to the end of it, go back in there. Because that's a good area back in there.
Now where we're going camping next weekend, over in that area I've been telling you about, I got one of my trail cameras out there, a long way deep in the woods, way behind the one lake. They got two lakes in that area. Now there's an upper lake I have not been to yet. And most of the time, majority of the time, the only people that really go up there are anyone's welcome to go up there. Usually horseback riders go. But then it's a disabled area. Usually, most of your older, elderly or disabled people go in that area. But I've heard it was interesting to go. You know, I said I was told in that area up behind that lake, you're most likely to possibly encounter or see something. But right where we're going to be camping is where the Squatch has been bold and messing with the campers right there. So, yeah. And when I was there, I saw very clear tracks in the field right across from the camping area. Yeah. Yep. Turkeys love that area. There's it's either there's a deer and turkey loaded in that field right there. So yeah, it should be pretty interesting. Yeah.
All right, guys, I got to jump off. I got to get up early again, go to Atlanta for a week. So,
okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna be absent for about a week. Got some sales training to do. So, you fellers have a good night, and ladies too. I don't see any ladies on here, but out there, everybody have a good night.
Yeah, you too, Cheryl. She was there. She's muted or doing something. So
I know. I saw her leave her a little bit ago. Y'all have a good night.
Yeah, you too now.
All right, see you guys.
I want to go out. I want to go out to Steve's area. I want to go over to Steve's house. I want to check his place out.
I'm only up there, only a couple hours.
What town you live in?
I'm only a couple hours up north of you. I'm close to Berkeley Springs.
Fredericksburg?
No, Berkeley Springs.
Oh, Tinkling Springs.
Berkeley Springs.
Buckley Springs. I got to look that up. What I do? Take 81 up by Harrisonburg. 81 was 81 north.
Take 81 up to 522.
Ah, yeah, around Winchester.
Yeah, when you get to Winchester, get on 522, take it into Berkeley Springs.
Okay.
Isn't
Yeah.
522 Mount Jackson?
It runs all the way up. 522 runs all the way through. I want to say Orange County through Louisa and cuts all the way up
No,
Northern
Louisa.
Virginia.
No, Louisa and Orange is over on the other side of Charlottesville. That's 64.
Yeah, but there's yeah, because it runs 522 runs it's a weird route because I know when I used to live in Amelia, I used to take a small part of 522 going into what the heck is it?
Cumberland.
It might have been. I know.
No,
Oh,
that's
I
60.
can't.
No, 60 goes through. 60
Yeah,
goes, 60
yeah,
goes
that
through
runs east
Cumberland.
to. Yeah, that runs east to west. I used to cross over 60 and stuff because I lived out in the boonies out there. Yeah.
You ain't got to tell me that.
Yeah, you're from there, so.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I
Yeah.
don't know. Hell, I mean, I got a van and everything. I might drive up there one weekend. Get the
Yeah.
record. Just one of them to drive up there.
Oh, keep in mind when we go camping next week, when we pull into the area, we have to park and unload, and walk past the gate a little ways. They have the main gate closed. They'll open it up next month when.
Yeah, April 1st. They open up
Yeah,
April 1st.
yeah, when Spring Gobble gets into and stuff too, but.
Yeah, because they're gonna open up Bald Mountain on April 1st.
But as far as the distance we have to walk through the gate, it's not far. It's less than a quarter mile, so it's like, yeah.
That means I got to take and repack my tent and everything.
What I thought about doing, if we could get a small cart or even a wheelbarrow, we'll throw everything on there, and that way we don't have to carry it into there to get set up. But
that'd be a good way to carry firewood too.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, this weekend I think. The other thing I thought about doing this weekend, I got to organize everything in the back of my Blazer and take everything out. Because I do have some unnecessary stuff just packed in there. I need to just organize it. So, yeah, because I've gone camping and, several times and I've taken stuff out, thrown stuff in there just to get it in there. And some of it's kind of a cluster. So, but I have access to things I use on a regular basis. But when I go out, but I keep them within reach because usually when I go out, I'm by myself and I keep everything right there on the passenger seat. So,
Venom hunters. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how's Cheryl doing today?
Oh, a little tired.
Yeah,
Came
you got to
home
go
at
in.
12.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I don't work tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool.
But I work all weekend.
Yeah, after I got home from work, I slept for a good couple of hours. I was tired, so.
I didn't get up. I think I went to sleep around 4 and didn't get up until 6:45.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Did y'all check out that?
Because the dogs barking.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Fred.
I said, y'all check out that video I remade yesterday?
No.
Which one?
The one where I sent that picture Daniel where it showed an arrow where it's supposed to be a squatch and I said it was probably a tree.
Oh, I seen that.
Yeah, well I went back out there and I redid that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and it's the exact same two trees that I said it was.
Mm.
And everything. But
that was very interesting.
It was.
I seen it.
Hmm.
Hey, Daniel.
Yeah.
Is that on your Go ahead.
Oh,
Sorry.
no, change the subject. Go ahead and finish before I change the subject.
Oh, I feel so rude. No, is it on your Facebook wall?
No, it's on my
Fred?
YouTube. It's on my YouTube. Freddie.
Oh, it's on your YouTube.
Yeah,
Here,
FRE. Yeah, write it down.
Hold on, I can Freddy Krueger. All right.
Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
All right, Freddy. It's
F
FREDDDY.
I E. No.
Oh,
F
ID?
I E. E is an elephant. And 59100.
FRE?
DDIE.
Oh, ID.
59100. It's like all one thing.
Okay.
There's no separation. It's all one
Okay,
thing.
you too.
And it should be
Fred,
the first one
I'll
on.
check that out.
Fred, you should have named your YouTube channel Freddy Squatch Lover.
Yeah. But you gotta
I can't
expect
wait.
that.
I might take a few weeks off and go up to Kathy's and look around. And then I got a friend that's got 45 acres, and she just lives in woods. The woods there, up in the woods. And
Well,
I
Kathy
asked
has
her
a
if she wanted to go look. Go ahead.
yeah. When you guys go out there, you guys should make like videos of when you guys go out there looking around. If you find
Oh.
stuff. She has a camcorder. She showed me the other day. So.
Oh yeah. Don't worry, we're gonna make a good video, better than them other girls did.
Oh yeah, Fred. You know
We're
that
gonna
video I
be.
posted of those girls. They were supposed to be like. It was more comical though because they were like a group of these young girls that were like supposed to be Bigfoot researchers and had all this weird equipment, and they were setting up. Yeah,
Yeah.
I showed that to Cheryl and all them, and she's like, "Oh, we're gonna do better than that."
Yeah. Hey Daniel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You remember that picture I said I sent to Paul?
Yeah.
Well, I'm getting ready to send you what he sent me back.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You sent me that already.
No. This is the other spot.
Okay. While you're doing that, let me get with Steve. What was that you wanted to talk about, Steve?
Right. Yeah, so this is an open discussion. I'm gonna tell you a story. Many
Okay.
years ago, I was about 10 years old when I got into when I really first started learning about Bigfoot. I guess I was about 10. I went to the school library and got this book on Bigfoot. I found this book and it's the best thing in the world. So my grandparents raised me since I was 3 months old. So I brought the book home and I'm sitting here reading the book. Well, my mother was visiting on this weekend and she had brought this guy with her. I don't know if it was her boyfriend or the guy she was getting ready to marry at the time or what the situation was. Or she was already married to him. Well, I don't know the situation. It was that long ago, but I remember the other part of it. As I was reading the book, I was sitting at the table reading the book. My mom comes up to me and she says, "What are you reading?" And I said, "I'm reading this book." She said, "Well, what's the book about?" I said, "It's a book about Bigfoot." And she started laughing. She thought it was the funniest thing. Well, the guy she had with her got this real funny look on his face. He says, "What is that?" And I showed him the picture on the front. I believe it was actually a picture of Patty on the front of it. And he got this weird look, and he called it something else. And I said, "Check." I said, "So you know what this is?" He said, "Man, when I was a little boy, one of these things came into our village and ransacked the village, killed a couple people, and devastated everything."
Wow.
And I said, "Well, where did you live?" He said, "Iran."
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So I've actually found some articles about these things actually being supposedly being in the Middle East and some sightings over there and whatnot. I couldn't believe it. It was pretty wild to me, but yeah, he swore up and down it was real. And
There you go,
one
Daniel.
came into his village as a little boy in Iran and tore the village up and actually killed a couple people. He said and that was like what really got me kicked into it. After that, I had to read everything I could read about him and do anything I could to find out about him. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
What do you
wow.
think?
Really wild.
What do you think about that one, Daniel?
Hold on. Let me. There we go.
Now, Paul said he don't see what's below it, but he said you can definitely see the head, the brow line, the dark eyes, the cheekbones, and the mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can see the skeletal look of you can see the cheekbone right here, the nose, the two eyes, and the eyebrow ridge right here. But if you
Yeah.
look at the overall picture, if you look down,
Yeah.
like say if this was the whole picture, if you look carefully on the other
Yeah.
side of this tree limb or this branch or whatever, you can see what
Yeah.
almost looks like a broad, real big, wide, broad shoulder over here.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Let me see what else
Now,
he
That's
says.
a wild picture.
now this right here, I can't make out what that might be right there. I can't
Okay.
see anything in that one.
Okay, he says, no, that's the body. I saw what looked like two eyes, but as you see, they are not there. Could have been two leaves close to camera. You can see the left arm or shoulder.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So where was this picture taken at?
Right up behind the camp.
Right behind your camp?
Yep.
Hmm. Interesting.
That's cool.
Hmm.
Yeah, very cool.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, Sasquatch Supernatural said he's referring to the story you just told us, Steve. He said that's so cool. Middle East Bigfoot. Hmm.
I don't know.
But yeah. I wonder if I don't know. With everything that's going on over there, I don't really see a population over there right now.
You have to take every story with a grain of salt, you know. But
Right.
the guy didn't seem to be lying, but it was pretty wild, you know, to tell me a story like that.
Oh yeah.
I guess you never know.
Wow. Mm-mm-mm.
That is.
Very.
But yeah,
Hmm.
he said you can see the left arm and shoulder.
Right.
That's probably what it was then.
Yeah.
Hmm. Um.
I'm gonna have to take these, and I'm gonna have to take all the close-ups like these and just put them in one album.
Yeah.
So do you guys, Daniel and Fred, this is for you guys. When
Yeah.
you do your research, do you do kind of like a scrapbook or something like that and keep all your, photos and
Information.
stuff in? Yeah, all your information and stuff?
Well, I got all my photos in my photos section. I just need to get them separated, because I got family and four-wheel drives and coyotes and deer and all that crap in my stuff. I need to separate them.
Yeah, I have a couple small little mini portfolios and folders. I keep a lot of documented research and stuff. Some of the studies I do in folders and stuff. Give or take, I have a couple things I have on my computer. As far as pictures and everything, I have them all my as far as different tree structures or different things I post for observation for other people to look at. Um, I keep them just on Facebook. There is times I will pull back off of them because I have pulled and reprinted. Like I'll print pictures out. I keep photo print paper here at the house, and I'll print them off. Here at home. Like I've posted a whole bunch of pictures in the past, and used them for displays and stuff at um, at public events. Like there's one that me and Fred we've done at one of the local libraries a little over a year ago, and I've had that. I actually have that out in the out in the garage. But yeah, every now and then, which I thought about doing that again, is printing the photos out and putting them in a actually like a big notebook, just to have on record for certain things. Not all of them, but particular ones, mainly like tracks and stuff like that. But yeah, I have several little mini folders and a couple small little mini portfolios. I keep certain papers and stuff in. Um, a lot of them are different documents that I've actually made and created to write and keep um, you know my notes and different findings in. Um, like for example, let me see if I might have one here. Like here, I'll show you guys. I got one right next to me in my folder right here. See, this is a This is my E.C.B.R.O data report. Like these are different ones. I'll either give these out to individuals, or I'll make notes. I'll use these to make notes. This is just one of the things I have right here made up, where they can, I can fill out for myself or individuals who want to share reports and stuff. I'll let them fill it out. On the bottom there's, like, if somebody was sharing a report to me, and if and they didn't want to speak, or you're right, they'll fill out their information. If they want to be contacted, and they can leave their number on here, and basically there's a small statement on the lower left-hand corner. It's a liability statement. If they agree for me to come onto their property, basically it protects me as well, and it also allows me permission. Actually, I have other statement forms. Basically, I have a liability statement reprinted on this with a contract of agreement for me to step foot on their property right here. So
Yeah, just like if somebody was hunting, you have to have permission to go on their property. You would have to have written permission too.
Right. Yeah, and basically, that's part of it. And the other thing too, in the contract, it states. I'll read it to you the way I have it written out or typed out. The above signed owner of the property will or does agree on the following: to allow all E.C.B.R.O members to conduct research and investigations on their property for up to 1 full year from the date signed on this form, in order to gather all data necessary to analyze for potential evidence. In doing so, it is also granted by the signed owner to allow all or any potential evidence to be gathered and kept by the E.C.B.R.O member. No other Bigfoot, Sasquatch, or cryptid researchers affiliated with outside groups are to be on this property while this contract is in effect. All E.C.B.R.O team members' names are listed on this form. Anyone else who claims to be affiliated with the E.C.B.R.O group must be approved by Daniel or Tracy. I state my whole name, but I'm just cutting through. The signature below of the owner seals this agreement into immediate effect. So forth. But I have several copies of these made, printed. I could always print out more if I had to. But yeah, these are just examples of some of the paperwork I have made. And like I said, it protects me and covers anyone affiliated or anyone that wants to step foot on that property that's within the group, or a member, so that wants to research or investigate for themselves. But yeah.
That's good. You guys keep stuff like that together. It's good.
Oh yeah. Hold on.
Yeah, because I'm having problems with the BFRO tiptoeing, the Virginia BFRO tiptoeing in my area.
Yeah, the thing is, what makes that hard though, Fred, because that's if they know of that area, it's hard. You can't, like, even if they were in my area, I can't do nothing about it. I just have to more or less try to keep a down low of who I am, and because that is public land. That's the only problem with it.
That's the bad thing about it.
Yeah. So.
My signs say no trespassing will be shot. No problem.
I wish I could do the same thing up here.
Well, it's like at this little general store outside my research area where I go. There's a store up there, and they sell different crafts and different things, and they sell these thermometers, outdoor thermometers, or temperature gauges, and they have different things they state on them. And one is, due to the rise in ammunition costs, all trespassers will not get a warning shot. So, which I thought that was pretty funny.
Well, due to the lack of ammo that we're getting, so we can't afford to waste a warning shot.
Right, something like that.
Unless you want to use a shotgun using rock salt and fatback. Perfect.
Right. Oh.
I think I'm going to need more than a week when I go down there. I better take another few days off too.
Well, as far as Ohio, apart from Ohio,
and go in you guys' area, and you guys teach us. You think about it. I don't mind taking extra 4, 5, 6 days off. Well, I get paid vacation, so I'm paid for 1 week. What's another thing anyway?
Yeah.
Oh, I just can't wait. I'm counting down the days. Well, weeks.
Yeah. I know it's getting a lot closer though. So, but yeah, like I mentioned before, apart from the Ohio expedition, I know in September I'm going to be holding an event here in Virginia. So,
I'd be there, but I wouldn't be able to take the time off. I've been working
yeah.
my butt off well, I've been working probably 45 hours a week or more.
Yeah, that's kind of how it has been with us. But actually, today I got to go in at regular time, and tomorrow I get to go in at regular time, so which is good. I don't have to get up as early. So, yeah. Uh, hmm. Well, we still have a lot of viewers watching. For viewers, if you guys have questions, feel free to ask us. Um, just feel free to ask or share things on the live chat. Some people are I've heard before some are unable to make comments and stuff on the live chat. So feel free to message me or something directly. I'll get it that way too. It'll pop right up on my screen. Um, but sometimes I have to refresh the live chat. Sometimes I don't see new things right away, so I have to. Like right now, I'm refreshing it now, see if there's something new. Some people aren't. Hold on. Nope, nothing new. But I'm still seeing viewers. So, well, what time is it? It's about 9:36 right now. Well, it's gotten quiet, so perhaps we could go ahead. We could go ahead and end the podcast. You know, since like I said, no one's really has nothing to currently say or discuss at the moment. I'm not seeing nothing on the chat. And how about
Well,
any of
would
you
they
guys?
go in? Well, go ahead. I'm rude. I'm sorry. It's not my
Oh
fault.
no, I was just gonna ask if anyone on the panel has anything to bring up or share.
Well, I was wondering, like down by my brother-in-law's, they have a gravel pit and stuff. There's a nice, wooded area there. It's up for sale, but we can still go down into the gravel pit. You think they go in there like
Uh,
Sasquatches and stuff? Do
like
they hang
how?
around in them types of area, instead of if they what I'm trying to say is would they, like what a gravel pit is, right?
Yeah.
And it's wooded area all the way around it, and then there's a stream right there,
I would think that
stream
would
or
be a
whatever they
pretty.
call it.
Yeah, I think that would be a pretty interesting area for them to come into. I mean, hey, they might collect their stones to throw there. I don't know. I I think it's possible. I don't see why they wouldn't. Um, hmm. I don't know. What do you think, Fred?
About what?
About squatches coming into a gravel pit that's like in the middle of the forest?
Yeah, like like birds, they gotta eat. They gotta gravel. They gotta get the grain of the gravel and use that for digestion because they don't um like in other words, it's like give a bird an Alka-Seltzer and he'll explode. They have no way to relieve gas, so they eat rocks and that dissolves the gas in them. So maybe squatches go in there and finds the soil and eat the soil for indigestion or something like that. Or
Hmm.
maybe it's because there's a certain food that they eat that they got to have that nutritional or that particular substance in the gravel or whatever they going there for. That's one thing I can think of.
Hmm. She must have lost connection or something. I saw her automatically disappear. So.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Oh. Hmm. There she is. She came back.
Sorry, I got booted off.
What?
It did that twice to me tonight.
It did that to me
Oh.
yesterday a few times.
It did twice tonight already that I've been on.
I'm thinking it might have something to do with the Google network. Because, like I said, it did it to me like 2 or 3 times yesterday, which I don't know why. Actually,
No,
it did it to me and Corey. But
it's a well good area and it's quiet. Nobody goes down there. I think Glenn and I ought to go down there and check it out when I get some free time. I have pretty hard on free time.
yeah,
I have a video camera myself, but I don't know how
that's the
good
thing.
it is.
When you're looking for an area to want, when you're trying to pick out a location to start really trying to throw focus into, you want to hit up a few different areas, but pick one that's has interest that might have a potential that wildlife goes through there. But take the time and just work your time slowly and look around and just observe everything around you. And if you start noticing things, like, hey, there's a chance a squash might have been here or whatever. I try to stay focused in one area at a time, and give or take, like I mentioned before, I have other locations within my area that I pay visits to every so often. To go back, because, like, for example, the one area I was going in every other weekend, and I was noticing changes for a certain period of time, and then after a certain time, it kind of seems like it stops, and then I started paying attention to another area where a lot more live action was taking place. Anywhere from vocalizations to encounter-wise, or or other physical evidence found, such as tracks, etc. But yeah, there's certain areas that I've learned to just keep concentrating in and focusing on, because those are the areas where I've been observing, uh, like constant changes or like I said, activity. And it's part of why I feel is important to focus in just small general areas where you're noticing the activity. That's where you'll actually pick up and learn maybe their whereabouts, or when they come in there, when it starts becoming active as far as time of day, time of night. Like, for the longest time, I noticed activity when I was camping by myself right in the area I was focusing in. Everything started happening around between 9 and 10 o'clock and up later. Um, I noticed there's times things started happening after midnight, you know. Um, and I do believe that all depends time of year, the seasons. But yeah, anywhere from between 9 to midnight. But then again, like I said, that depends on the time of year. Um, on a cool night, I think, yeah, temperature plays a small role in it. You know, but yeah, these are little things you'll actually start picking up on. So.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm looking at my phone right now. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, you're
Glenn
fine.
Glenn just told me, Cheryl, it's by the Kanduskeg string, and that is where Carrie and I had our encounter. So I think Glenn and I ought to go check that out.
Ooh.
Maybe sometime next week.
Well, that's what. Yeah, that'd be cool. How about you guys plan on doing that? Because we're gonna be out Friday and Saturday and through Sunday, and you know, I hope we do pick up something there. Yeah, that way we come back,
And
we'll have yeah.
there's a lot of wildlife there. Even a bear lives up there that we called Bruno when we were kids.
Yeah, he might be a monster by
She
now.
had two. Oh no, it's actually a girl, and she had two baby cubs 1 year, and she like crosses. She on one side of the street, well, where the water is, she'll be over there in the summertime, and then when it comes wintertime, she'll go across onto our. Well, we used to own both properties before we sold the farm, and she goes back onto the other side, other side in the wintertime to hibernate.
Hmm. Interesting.
But there
Yeah.
is a lot of wildlife. I told Mom, I said, I ever win the Powerball, I am buying that land back. I'll
But
set
yeah,
her up on a log cabin.
yeah. If you guys have access to that area, I would definitely start paying attention to it. Yeah, if you see things, take notes of things, and then when you go back, you know, that's why a lot of times me and Fred take pictures of certain things because when we go back into these areas, we'll know if there's something new there,
Oh yeah.
regardless of what it might be. So yeah, you can make
I
small
don't think we've been
documentation.
down there for years.
Yeah.
I don't think I've
Well,
been down there for 8 years. So it's been pretty quiet down there, I bet.
well, perhaps, and but that might be a good if no one's really been through there, that would be a good reason to also go down there too, because the area is undisturbed. If that's if no one's been through there. So that may be almost like a safe haven for an elusive creature. It's but yeah, like I
Yeah.
said, just go down there with your eyes and ears, and like I said, take cameras, document anything you might find. But pay attention to where you're stepping. It's one thing I tell when Brianna goes out with me. I said, Brianna, when you're out here, I said, 'cause like I said, she's good at finding and putting things out. I said, just
Oh yeah.
watch where you step, because I made the mistake. I've done that before. I was walking along and I seen a nice track, but by the time I saw it, my foot was already going down, and I cussed myself out for it because I was just not paying attention. But yeah, just watch where you step in. Look, especially if you see exposed soil, where it's dirt or whatever. Pay close attention to it. Like regardless, you'll see if anything's been through there. You'll see its tracks. You know, deer, bear, a squatch, whatever. But that's one thing. When I go around creek beds and streams, sometimes some of them expose dirt and bare spots, and that's where I'll pay a lot of special attention to those areas. But then again, you'll find tracks in places you don't always expect to see them either. So yeah, definitely go up there and yeah, just look around. Take your time looking around. Um, but yeah, I don't know how vocal a Squatch might be up that way. If you think they put out vocalizations or give off sounds, maybe pick up a digital audio recorder from like Walmart or something, and like I said, like the one I got, it was about roughly $40. Fred has the same exact one, and they work awesome. And
Oh yeah.
they pick up long range. And I'll give you one recommendation: don't set. It has voice activation recording. I recommend not setting that because if something gives off a quick, short vocal, it's not going to pick it up right away. You'll miss it. So when I put mine out, excuse me, I put mine out on straight continuous recording. On a fresh set of batteries. Make sure you don't use cheap batteries. Use name brand batteries. But
Mm-hmm.
this one here will stay out all week. I've done this. I put this audio recorder to the test. Um, like I said yesterday, this audio recorder made by Olympus, right here. I've had over 45 hours of straight continuous record from leaving this out in the woods. This
Same here.
thing, yeah, this thing has been out in the pouring rain,
Yep.
everything. Yeah, these things are awesome devices. For $40, you cannot go wrong. But a lot of times when I place it, I don't just place it like I'm not going to put it on an open rock or open exposed
I
stone.
got the same thing.
Yeah, there you go. See? Yeah, great
See
minds
here,
think alike.
but see, you can leave it in the case it come in. You can,
Yeah.
and it'll protect the recorder itself.
Well, I I picked. Well, yeah. I don't know where my case went. I had a nice little one. Actually, I had one. If you go to like the dollar store,
But I also
and
got that one too.
yeah, I've seen them. But I've gone to the dollar stores and picked up a cheap uh, camera case for it, which is like a little sleeve, more or less, like one of the cheap flip phone cases. Um, yeah, for like I don't know, like $2 to $5 or something. Yeah, But yeah, they work great, man. I definitely highly recommend getting one. You don't need to get all these high tech, expensive 80 to 100 something dollar devices. This is like I said, $40, man. I got this at a Target store, but Walmart has the same exact one. So yeah, but yeah, around the $40
I'll
price
have to pick
range.
one up.
Yeah, I mean, my first one I had was a refurbished one made by Sony. It was a silver one. That thing worked really great too. But the problem with that one, somebody found it because I didn't hide it well enough. Yeah, but when I went back a day or two later, it was gone. So yeah, I was kind of cussing myself out for doing that because it was right off of a pathway, and I knew somebody had taken it because when I went to go look at it, look where it was. 'Cause I had it hanging on a tree limb on a cedar tree, and I looked around and thought maybe a limb broke or it fell off by the wind. And I'm looking around, not seeing nothing. But when I saw what was down on the ground next to me, I was like, wow, somebody's been in here. I found poop, human feces on the ground, covered by a big giant leaf. So
Oh,
that,
jeez, yuck.
yeah, yeah. Somebody was out fishing at the lake, and yeah, there was no bathhouses within close range, and they had to go. So
You got the short end of that trade, brother.
yeah, yeah, they shitted on that on
Jeez.
me.
Man.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, that's poop for you. Yeah,
They could at
yeah.
least dug a hole. Jeez.
Now that audio recorder that I had that was taken out of the woods for me, I paid $18 for that refurbished device, and it was like brand new. I looked that same one up, man. That thing goes for like 60 something dollars, brand new. So, but I got a good deal on it, but unfortunately it got stolen from me. But I like to pick up another audio recorder. Eventually I'm gonna pick up a second one, but like I said, this one here works really great. I'm happy with it. And the way I transfer my audio, when if I get something on there I want to share, I'm sure there's another easy way to do it, which I could probably find a way to run it through my laptop and upload it through
Yeah.
like my SoundCloud. But the way I've been doing it, I'll play the recording through my phone, through my voice recorder that's app on my phone, and I'll take it and I'll share that recorded link onto my SoundCloud. So that's where a lot of my sound on my audio is. It's on SoundCloud, and but yeah, if anyone wants to look up my SoundCloud, it's under my name, Daniel Benoit, Benoit, and with a number 7 afterwards, after the name. When I set up the SoundCloud, I don't remember putting a 7 after it, but I don't know. But anyway, it's under my name, Daniel Benoit, whatever, and with 7, Daniel Benoit 7. So, but that's my SoundCloud. So, I know a lot of people are familiar with it because I've
Now,
shared.
is it Benoit or Bernard?
Well, it's not Bernard because there's
You
no R in it.
pronounce your last name.
It's been
Well,
Noit. It's
how
Yeah.
been
you said
Noit.
it the last time.
It's been
Benoit.
Noit.
Yeah, the way Fres pronounced it, that's the American
Okay.
pronunciation of it, Benoit. But it's a French
Benoit.
name. So yeah, it's actually, if you want to pronounce it in French, it's Benoit.
Benoit.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
It's a
Is it
Yankee.
Benoit?
It's a Yankee name.
Oh,
Hey, wait a minute. They got
Yankee.
Benoits down in Louisiana that are born and raised down there, so they're Cajun.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
You
they're
and your
Southern.
Yankees, Fred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So, so part of the Benoits that are down in Louisiana and around that way, the Cajun people, they a lot of them were French people that, and back in the history, they came and settled into that area. That's where down in Cajun, that's what a lot of Cajuns are. They are a type of French people. Yeah, like if you look at a lot of the names, a lot of their names are French. So yeah.
My maiden name is French.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's Provost.
Huh. You speak French?
Nope. My father was
Oh.
full French.
Canadian French?
No, I think French.
Because
Glenn's mother's French too.
Yeah, see, we're
She's
Canadian
full
French.
French.
Yeah,
Canadian French. I didn't know there was such thing. You're French. You're French.
oh no, there's two different French. A lot of Canadians are French. Canadian French. Their languages has a different dialect than the ones in France. Even though the dialects are different, they are understood. It's almost like a slang or offset. Like in Spanish, you got a lot of Spanish people and Mexican people. They can understand each other, but the dialects are different. One's more of a fancier one. Like for example, to say hello, how are you? In Canadian French, it's bonjour, comment ça va? And then if you go in from France, if they were to say hello, how are you? It's bonjour, comment allez-vous? You know, it's more of a fancier dialect.
Oui,
You
oui,
know.
oui, monsieur.
Yeah.
What's that word? Oui, oui, monsieur.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
I'll stick to
Yeah.
my English. Well, Cheryl's English anyway.
I say,
Yeah.
how y'all doing? I have some friend
Yeah.
ass and
How
crowd
y'all
ass.
doing? I
Yeah.
get made fun of all the time. All the time.
I wonder why.
How y'all are?
Hey, I got a lot of compliments on. They love my accent. They love my accent. Just me. Remember that, Daniel. There. Remember that.
Okay,
You're
Fran.
you.
That's right, Fran.
You don't
Isn't that
pay
the?
attention to nobody else. You don't listen to other people.
Oh, absolutely.
You do what you do.
Oh,
Oh,
Glenn
Or I'll
said.
kick
hey,
your ass myself.
Cheryl,
Glenn.
do you work at
What?
do you work at a McDonald's?
Yes. I'm a manager at McDonald's.
Well,
And for everybody
let
to
me.
know, I have 2 degrees in college too, for dental
Okay,
and CNA too.
okay. I didn't know this until I seen it
And
the
I
other day.
choose
You
McDonald's.
can take a hamburger from McDonald's and take molten metal that's melted. Pour it on the bun will catch on fire. But when you pour that molten iron on that hamburger, on that beef patty itself, it doesn't phase it. Because why? You're putting molten metal on a hamburger patty. Now, why is that?
I
They made a video of it
don't
the other
know.
Really?
You believe everything what them videos say?
Well, I do know one thing.
You don't believe everything that what they have on face. This is what I try to tell Mom. You
Well,
know,
the
they
guy went to
found
McDonald's.
human meat and
The guy went to
burgers and
McDonald's and
stuff,
bought the guy went
or
to McDonald's and
or
bought the
worm
hamburger.
burgers.
Hey, the guy went to McDonald's and bought the hamburger and brought it back, videoing it, and then he poured the molten lava and the hamburger and the bun. I mean, the bun burned, but the hamburger, it never even faced it. Then the guy put another bun on top of it and ate it.
Mm-mm-mm.
And was it good?
I don't know. He
Of course
turned
not,
green.
because it wasn't made for me. Or actually, Victoria, she's my grill person in the morning. We're
Yeah,
having good deals, two for $5 right now.
So we're supposed to come up to Maine to go to McDonald's?
Yeah,
I
I
want.
don't. Well, I work there. I do eat there once in a while, but when I'm not working, I don't want to go there to eat.
Well, I just
See how
had
I
I
saved
went
myself on that?
well,
When
I
I
just
go,
went through the drive-through at your competition on the last Saturday when I was coming out of the woods. I was starving, so I went through the drive-through at Burger King. It was the only restaurant that was right off the highway that I was jumping back on. So
yeah,
before I got back on 81.
See,
the only
Burger
rest.
King's one of my favorite restaurants.
Yeah, I got me a Whopper
I can't work at
combo
Burger
with
King.
bacon. Yeah, I got me a Whopper combo with bacon, and I got me one of their hot dogs. I wanted to try out their hot dogs. It wasn't bad. I got the chili cheese dog
Oh,
too.
Me and the
Yeah.
kids were talking about Burger King and their hot dogs, and some customers asked us if we was gonna do it, and I said, yeah. I said I wish, and then we can call them McWieners. And then I look online. Then I look online on my Facebook, and then I seen stuff about hot dogs, and they'll call them McWieners. It was funny.
But you know the funniest thing about all these restaurants is they're starting every time. We have Black Angus beef. Really? We've been eating Black Angus beef all our life, and then restaurants come out. We got Black Angus beef. It's $2 more per bird than regular beef. What's the difference? The cow's black. That's the only damn difference.
If I had more land, I'd be raising my own beef cows. If I had more land, I've been trying to get Kathy to do it.
Black Angus.
I like to raise my own.
Black Angus and Herefords are about the way to go. But everybody I know, and even us, all the cattle we raised were Black Angus.
Yeah.
Hey,
And
Fred.
Yeah.
Check this out. I'm going to screen share here in a second. Give me a second. I'll pull it up, let everyone see it.
Wait a minute. Is it on the...
It's on your messenger.
Well, I can't see it.
I'm going to screen share. Hold on.
Steve can't
Hold on.
see it. It's not fair for me and him not seeing it.
All right, hold on.
Yeah, hold on.
He's fat. He ain't seen it in a while.
Hold on.
Yeah, last time I walked into a restaurant, they said Angus beef. I said, really? Is that a new kind of beef they got? Yeah.
The McWiener.
There you go.
But I tell you, next time you go into Burger King or McDonald's or Wendy's and you see special, the today special whatever, or you see new Black Angus beef. Hell, even Food Lion selling Black Angus beef, and they think it's the no one else has ever had it before. It's so comical, you know.
I think it's thicker. It's thicker than when we used to do the Angus. We used to have the Angus. It was a little bit bigger than the four that we called for the ones which we use on the quarters.
You talking about the
And then
artificial
you got your
burgers
tender
you
ones
got?
that goes like on your McDoubles and stuff.
Oh, you talking about the artificial hamburger?
No, they're 100% beef.
Uh-uh.
Really, they're 100% beef.
Uh-uh.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I left them 45-pound boxes. Well, Victoria does. I just watch.
Does the meat come out of Canada?
But they're right on the boxes. It's 100% pure beef.
From where?
They're just like compressed more.
But
They're
where
like
does it come
compressed.
Where'd they come from? I think one comes
I
out
don't
of
know. They
If it
come
comes
from a
Canada, if it
McDonald's
comes from
truck that we
Canada, it
get.
ain't beef, it's horse.
They what?
Now I'll look and I'll tell you guys where
If
it
it comes
goes.
out of Canada, it's probably horse.
Oh yeah. Horse
Well,
meat's
if
good too.
horse tastes that good,
Yeah, horse meat's good, man.
Kathy's got a horse up there.
Oh, you're going to go kill the poor horse.
I can't eat Harley. He's such a good boy.
Hey, I've had monkey
Daniel's
meat.
gonna like him.
Yeah. I've even made monkey meat.
I had ostrich.
Ostrich is
I
good.
had gator meat. I had snake. I had frog legs. I had pig ears.
Frog legs are good, man. That's where I'm from. Frog legs and mud bugs.
Yeah. Oh
That's
yeah.
good.
Tastes just like chicken.
Hey Cheryl, you ever had mountain oysters?
Ooh.
No. What are
You say
they?
you don't know what mountain oysters are. You can buy them in the store.
Nope. I don't buy nothing in the store. If I want something seafood, go down to the coast.
She don't know,
What are you
Steve.
sitting there laughing?
uh, tell her what it is, Steve.
Bull nuts.
Yeah, unmute yourself,
Testicles.
Steve.
No, it ain't.
Walnuts?
It's
Testicles. Pig
Testicles?
testicles.
They really
Well,
sell
yeah.
it
that
depends. They
stuff in
come
the
from pig.
store?
Either pig testicles or bull testicles. But they call them either mountain oysters or mountain, or there's another term for them, but usually mountain oysters is the term.
Yeah, they're hog balls. That's mountain oysters.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez, when we castrate our pig, we just do it ourselves. Yeah.
I got a
Yuck.
good friend of mine. When we kill hogs, he sticks the hog, and we don't shoot. I'll shoot a hog now. We didn't used to. He would just stick the hog, and he would jump in with a cup and drink the blood right out the hog.
I used to
Ooh.
do that. I used to do that.
Crazy fool, man. He'd get
Yeah,
up and have
Bert's gonna
blood
be getting
everywhere.
it soon, I guess. Another month, he's gonna go in the freezer.
These poor people were watching that thing.
More
We
bacon.
lost our minds.
Oh, jeez.
People just don't know. But think about this: when the
Don't
squatch
know
eats a
what,
deer,
Fred.
when the squat eats a deer, does he eat every part of it, from
I
head
don't
all the
know.
way
He
to
might be picky. He might be picky.
I don't know, you know. I
Yeah,
mean,
how would they? How would they eat that? Nice going. Yeah, I get called that already.
Queen of the McWiener.
Queen of the McWiener.
I've always heard they just eat the only organs like the livers and the heart and the only parts. Not it's what I've always heard about them eating as part of the deer, but that's just hearsay.
yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know.
So now, do they have long? Do they have long fingernails and stuff like that? How
Well,
would
I don't
they
think they got pony clippers.
like we would cut it up? How would you think? How would you think they would? You
Crack
know,
them on a rock.
They would
I
take it.
don't believe.
Yeah. Yeah, like if they break a like if they wanted the hind quarter, they would take and break it and pop it out of joint, rip it off.
Oh yeah, they
Oh,
must got a
great.
favorite part. Probably the loins.
Hey, Greg Corbin, he's letting me know that he's listening. He says it's going great. He says to tell everyone, hey, and then he talking about the voice recorder that we have. He said he has the same one. Pretty cool.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to
They're
get one.
good.
Maybe I'll buy one this weekend. Well,
Oh yeah.
if we go in town tomorrow, go buy one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Fred. You still haven't met Greg, have you?
Huh?
Still
Do
have.
what?
Yeah, you haven't met Greg, have you?
Don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause last time he was up this way, him and his wife and his son, they came up to the town hall meeting that we had up in Churchville.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
I didn't make that one.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, he came up to that one. Yeah, 'cause he was at our expedition we had just last year, and then yeah, he came back up for the that town hall meeting we have, and that was
You talking about the
pretty
guy from?
interesting.
You talking about the guy from
Yeah,
Virginia
Virginia.
Beach?
Yeah,
Oh
he
no, I
drove
didn't
a
meet
good
them.
3 hours. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
You'll
didn't
you'll
meet
meet
him.
you'll meet him if you come out with us next weekend. Yeah, you'll meet him. Him
All
and his
right.
son Kai is coming up. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah. He's got some really great video equipment. He was telling me the other day that yeah, one of his devices needs a new battery or something, and then he had some issues with one, but he's still bringing his regular digital recorder up with him. So yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, he just messaged on the live chat too. He said, "Hey Fred, Greg here."
Oh, cool.
So
Glad to meet you.
yeah. Oh man. Well, I'm going to tell you what, everyone. I've enjoyed our chat and our discussions that we've had. I'm actually going to go ahead and end this. I don't know if I'm going to do anything tomorrow, but if I do, I will definitely make note of it. I'll try to let everybody know early enough. I try to, I don't know. I know I've been having random shows, but keep in mind, everybody that's viewing, I do have a show planned for Friday night, 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the rescheduled show with Durain Fisher from the Crypto Crew. And Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to have a very interesting live discussion. I think we're going to, originally it was planned to talk about and go over and discuss the skeptics and non-believers, and but I'm going to try to put a twist into that. We've been kind of talking about that all week on the last couple of days, on and off. So, but I have some other things I have been jotting down. So, some of the questions I've asked you earlier, Fred, but I'm going to try to get into rewrite them and put them down in a little bit better details to know how to ask them. So, yeah.
Hey Daniel, I'm gonna send you a
Yeah.
link. It's called Devil Monkeys, North America. Crypto. Let's see, crypto.
Oh, I
Pale
think I've seen that
exploited.
before.
Yeah, these vicious marsupial-like primates have reportedly attacked humans across North America since 1934.
Interesting.
Kind of looks like a Bigfoot, a dog man, and a werewolf. No, I'll take it back. Bigfoot, a werewolf, and a monkey combined in the face. Let me send that to you. Let me send it to you right
Okay,
now.
I'd like to ask another question real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe you and Fred. Why do they call what's a dog man? Is that referring to a Sasquatcher, or is that,
Well,
or is it a different term of werewolf or something?
Some people say that there are Bigfoots that look like a dog man. It's got a dog type face. And then you got some in Russia in 1934. The Russian military killed a werewolf. I thought it was fake, but back in 1934, the military, I don't know, they're communists. They were communists at the time, and it showed it was like a dog. It looked like like they do in the movies. You ever watched what's that movie? The Lycans,
Yeah.
Vampires and Lycans, Underworld.
Yeah, those are werewolves. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But back years ago, people, research, other people were telling me, that got into it, like Shell Dion. She was telling me that there are two types of dog man. There are the good kind and the bad kind, and the good kind would be like the babysitters for the squatches and stuff like that. It's just, I don't know. I mean, I've found some weird looking tracks in my area, but I don't know what to associate them with. It looks like a wolf track about 4 times the size, about big as my hand. Because I found a track one day across from the camp back in that spot where I took Daniel at one day, or where Daniel went back up in there and I went back up in there, and I found a track that was like this. I didn't have a flashlight, but from what I felt and what I seen, it could have been a squatch with his hand upside down, or it could have been a big dog track. I don't know. It was some real soft soil, and it was starting to get dark, so I couldn't really see that good, But it was pretty big. If I'd have had some plaster cast, I would have casted it and everything.
Yeah, I know in that area, I've always heard the coyotes sound off in that area before.
Yeah, I've been wanting to go back over, man, but I think the owners are bouncing around in there now, because I seen a truck, red Toyota truck with a camper shell on it, parked right across from where you go down that little lane there. And I think they went back in there.
Yeah, they got tree stands built back there on scaffolds. So, yeah.
Yeah, they got them up there big. But they're in a good spot, man, because they got their private land plus national forest. How lucky is
Exactly.
that?
Yeah, they got deer and bear, turkey, everything that roams through there. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah, yeah. One more thing, Greg said he is looking forward to shaking your hand next weekend, Fred. So yeah, he's been wanting to meet you. Yeah, he's been wanting to meet you. So yeah,
Ah, okay, cool.
yeah. So thank you everybody, and Greg said great job tonight, everybody. Thank you for tuning in, you guys. If you're not subscribed, feel free to subscribe, because if you subscribe, you'll be able to get the notification when we have our random podcasts such as this. I try to give notice, as we've actually been getting a lot of viewers on just last minute notice, and I'm surprised it's been working that way. So yeah, thank you again. We had fun. Yep.